The past, the present, and for the next decade, America's Olympic network is NBC.
Straight ahead, week 6 of the AFL on NBC. Some of you will go to Tampa Bay to see the defending Arena Bowl champion Storm, who've had their quarterback issues. That's not the story with the New York Dragons. Aaron Garcia, the top-rated QB this week. Also, we'll take you to Grand Rapids to see the winless Rampage. Their fans remain strong, but the opponent today is too. Tony Graziani takes his LA Avengers with a 2-2 record into Michigan. They look to get a winning streak started. And welcome to 30 Rock. Al Troutwig along with Glenn Parker. As always, get you set. Kickoff just a few minutes away. Today we're joined by Joey Galloway for the Dallas Cowboys for now. We'll talk about that at halftime. You're also a part owner of the Columbus Destroyers, but our question here today is, can you be as good as Tommy Maddox?
Yes.
Can you be better than John Elway?
Of course.
Can you outpass Tony Graziani?
Not outpassing.
Not even a quarterback. That's what it's because he's not a quarterback. That's why he's going to be so much better.
It's about time you guys got an athlete in here.
Oh, boy.
What about me?
Well, it's the first non-quarterback we've had.
Tomato tartare.
Oh, okay.
That's Glenn Parker's Food World. We'll deal with that in another show, maybe not. Let's talk about building an AFL franchise as this team moves from Buffalo to Columbus. Tell me about your involvement.
Well, I go to practice every day, and I'm trying to learn what it takes to win in this league. You know, I'm trying to learn from Chris Spielman, who's definitely involved a lot with this team. We got Earl Bruce coaching the team. The fans have been great in Columbus. Now we got to hold up our end of it, put a winning team out there.
Well, let's take a little look through your eyes with the Columbus Destroyers playing host to the Philadelphia Soul, who suddenly look like they're a player in the Arena Football League. But here are some of the key plays through the eyes of Joey Galloway as it unfolded last night in Columbus.
You know, I feel like I'm taking a test every game as I'm watching these guys and say, okay, this guy's pretty good and this guy's okay, but what's the difference? It's a different game. Number 4 is our guy. Number 4 is our guy. There we go. Can we get some cheering going down there or something? Here we go.
Pass interference on the defense.
We'll get more penalties than any team in the league. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Good play. Good play.
Bad news in the end. Philadelphia scores in the final 30 seconds. The Destroyers then fumble the kickoff. 43-41. The Soul 3-3. Columbus 1-5. One other quick look game. Dallas a surprising 5-1 record, and they crushed Carolina 77-52. So I guess, Joey Galloway, late game management, as it is in any sport, can really hurt you in this league, especially in the last minute when the clock stops all the time.
Yeah, we got to play better in the second half as a whole. We got too many penalties. They're absolutely killing us. It's like we got to beat the penalties and the other team. We're not good enough to do that yet.
I just like watching the evolution. As an owner, you're sitting there getting cheers going. You're worried about the penalties. Totally different than you as a player. Here you are as an owner, and I love seeing that. That's great.
I have my nieces with me at the game, and they're down there, they're eating, they're not really paying attention who's winning. I need people around me to cheer our team on.
Do you get as involved as John Elway? Are we going to see you making moves down onto the field to see if you can insert a play late or what?
No, not yet, not yet. In a couple years when I learn more, maybe.
Glenn, the 2 games on our schedule today, we're going to go to Tampa, we're going to go to Grand Rapids, Michigan. What do you think is the biggest story?
I think the biggest story is the matchup between Donvettis Franklin, the defensive specialist for the New York Dragons, against Freddie Solomon, the offensive specialist for the Tampa Bay Storm. These 2 players, very good. Both are having great seasons so far, and it's a matter, can Donvettis keep his intensity level all the way through this game?
And not make those dumb mistakes.
Not make the dumb mistakes.
You got to take the good with the bad. All right, Joey, we'll be watching these games. You'll be doing updates with Glenn and I. We'll get you set now for week 6 of the AFL on NBC. Kickoff coming up. Stay with us.
We welcome you to Grand Rapids, Michigan, as the Los Angeles Avengers square off against the Grand Rapids Rampage. Los Angeles is led by quarterback Tony Graziani. Playing in his 38th AFL game, he has a chance to reach the 200 touchdown pass plateau. One of his big receivers, Chris Jackson, back from a knee injury. Anthony Buich, the quarterback for Grand Rapids, learning and progressing. His big play man is Steve Smith. He'll need him on offense and special teams as well. Bob Hopper, Ray Bentley, glad you can join us. Los Angeles in the white, Grand Rapids in the red. Ray, Grand Rapids won the coin toss as Remy Hamilton gets set to kick off, and they've elected to receive the football.
Right, they want to get an early start. That's one of the things Coach Bob Cortez talked about with us. So he said, you know, we'll take that early start on offense.
Steve Smith back deep. He's returned 2 for touchdowns this season. Remember, the nets, the iron, the walls, everything is in play, and we're underway. Smith will field it cleanly. Smith tripped up at about the 8-yard line, and that's where Grand Rapids will start 1st and 10. Remember, no punting in arena football. Anthony Buich, a rookie out of Eastern Illinois, the quarterback. And there's his offense. Goolsby, the fullback. Dutcher, a Grand Rapids native, excited about playing for the first time in his home city. And Steve Smith, the big playmaker. And what about this line, Ray?
Well, this has been a problem for the Rampage, protecting the quarterback. Bob Cortez said Tito Simpson right there in the end is his best lineman.
And the player that raises his hand when they come to the line of scrimmage identifies to the official that he is the eligible receiver, the tight end. Smith, the motion man, on a 1st and 10. Buich can't complete the pass intended for Josh Bush, and there is a flag on the play as well. And it might be a false start motion on Grand Rapids. Referee Harry Havener, 4 years of experience, will give us the call. Grand Rapids 0-5.
Offside, number 84 on the offense. He's lined up in the neutral zone. Penalty is declined. 2nd down.
That's Steve Smith, the offensive specialist.
You know, he was the man in motion. You don't see that often. They usually give you a little bit of leeway, a couple yards there. But they called that one early.
Let's take a look at the Los Angeles Avengers defense. Al Lucas, a key free agent signing. In the middle, they get good push in the middle, but their defense has not lived up to snuff, Ray.
No, and the problem has been with the defensive specialists. They get Damon Wheeler back this week. That should help Los Angeles.
2nd and 10 for Grand Rapids, and Buich fumbles it, and it's loose on the floor, and it's recovered by the Los Angeles Avengers at the 1-yard line.
Boy, he tried to throw the quick screen to the short side, and it looked like the ball got hit by one of his own guys.
And Al Lucas recovers the fumble for Los Angeles.
Watch Buich right here. He just dropped it. Just flat out couldn't get the handle on it, bobbled it, and gave it up early.
Arnold Miller had a chance, but Al Lucas recovers his first fumble of the season for the Los Angeles Avengers.
Oh, that's a young, nervous quarterback type of mistake.
And Ray, that's the 13th turnover this season for Grand Rapids.
Well, that's been killing them.
And that is their 5th fumble loss. So Tony Graziani with a golden opportunity. They'll hand it off on the inside, and Jackson slicing to the goal line. And Chris Jackson scores the touchdown, and Los Angeles converts for Jackson, his first rushing touchdown of the season.
Just a simple lead play, and Grand Rapids linebackers get blocked. They don't come up and fill the hole quick enough, and that turnover turns into points. So much for the quick start for the Rampage.
So Chris Jackson, back from that knee injury, able to rush it in from 2 yards out. Buich with the fumble. Remy Hamilton on for the extra point. 28 of 29 on the season. Outstanding. And he puts it right down the middle. And just like that, Los Angeles out to a quick 7-0 lead. Bob Papa, Ray Bentley, so glad you can join us for the AFL here on NBC. Ray, Grand Rapids comes in with a record of 0-5. Turnovers a problem. How can they win this game?
Well, I think it starts out with their opponent. Los Angeles has lost 2 games in a row. They're coming off a bye week. It's a 9 a.m. Pacific start, so that'll help. But I think Grand Rapids has to be able to not make mistakes, not turn the ball over. Wait a minute, they just did, so that becomes a problem. But this team is getting better. They played their best game last week, and Coach Cortez feels that they're gelling, coming together as a football team.
All right, let's talk about the Los Angeles Avengers, and obviously their quarterback, Tony Graziani, has yet to throw an interception this season. Really comfortable in the system.
He really is. This is his 3rd year in this system, and he just doesn't make mistakes. He says, I can go out now. I don't have to think. I can just play. And he's playing very well. You see the 26 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. That's an amazing number. He takes good care of the football. He's got great pocket presence. He's able to elude the rush and make plays. He's playing one of the best in the league. I think he's a total package. Then he's got Chris Jackson, who just scored that first touchdown. He missed the last game and a half because of a knee injury. He's back, and you see the impact he can make on a team. In fact, he's the returning offensive player of the year. This doesn't get much better than Chris Jackson.
All right, let's take a look at the other side of the ledger for Grand Rapids. Anthony Buich. He's a rookie quarterback. He's learning the game of arena football.
Yeah, he is, and you see he made the rookie mistake early on, but he does know this game. He's played 3 years in Arena 2 coming into here. He has all the throws. He's starting to feel more comfortable with his receivers. So, you know, last week he played pretty good, but he's got to get a lot of help from Steve Smith. Steve Smith is the best weapon that Grand Rapids has, and he's an emotional, tough kind of player. They need to get him started early to have success.
All right, they'll need Steve Smith to make a big play on special teams as he'll receive this kickoff from Remy Hamilton. And it's a 7-0 Los Angeles lead after the second offensive play of the game. Buich fumbles the ball away, and Los Angeles gets an easy score. The Avengers, after getting off to a 2-0 start, dropping their last 2 before their bye last week. Smith, that's a tough handle off the iron. Smith gets his hands on it, and he gets tackled into the end zone for a touchback. So a good kick that time by Hamilton. And Grand Rapids in deep from their own 5-yard line.
Take a look at this bounce off the iron, and Steve Smith has no idea where that ball's going to go. Does a nice job of staying with it, but that's just good coverage from Ingram coming down and making a football play. And Ingram will be all over the field. Offense, defense, special teams. He's a special guy.
All right, 1st and 10 for Grand Rapids.
Ready!
Smith goes in motion. Buich completes it to about the 10-yard line. And they pick up 5 on the play. Catch made by Will Sullivan, a second-year pro out of Bowling Green. Signed as a free agent, had some time with Arizona last year. Played in Canada as well. He's 25 years of age.
Just a nice little check down. Good read by Anthony Buich, and I think Coach Cortez is going to run some shorter stuff, develop some confidence. I'm sure Buich is shaken after that first possession fumble.
2nd and 5.
Go!
For the Rampage. Buich. Smith can't make the handle with Wheeler right on his back. So Steve Smith not able to haul that one in. So 3rd and 5 for Grand Rapids as you get a look at Anthony Buich with head coach Bob Cortez. Cortez in his first year as head coach of the Rampage.
Bob coached at Oklahoma City for a couple of years when they had an arena football team there. I had the pleasure of going against him, and Bob's a gentleman. He knows this game. He's a very good football coach, has had a lot of success. He said he's never had a team start out like this Grand Rapids team has this year.
3rd and 5. Buich looking deep, and it's intercepted. Intercepted by the Avengers. Excellent pickoff by Kevin Ingram. And Ingram gets his 3rd interception of the season as he recovered with Sullivan racing behind him.
You see Buich stumbled again out of getting the snap, and he had to throw the football. He just didn't put enough muster on this one. But you see his feet weren't set, and that's because the pass rush was coming after him, and then Ingram just makes a play to the ball. But Sullivan was open. That ball was underthrown.
Ingram with his 3rd interception of the season. The Avengers in front. Rookie quarterback Anthony Buich throwing his 4th interception, plus he has a fumble already. And the Los Angeles Avengers with a 7-0 lead. What is Coach Cortez telling Buich right now?
He's telling him take care of the football. That's 2 possessions, 2 turnovers, both by the quarterback. So he's got to get Buich settled down. There's a lot of football left to play.
Tony Graziani with his team on the field, leading the Avengers to the line of scrimmage. Graziani with 196 touchdown passes, playing in his 38th game. He needs 4 to become the 14th player to reach 200. Jackson in motion. Graziani has Ingram. Ingram explosive. Ingram inside the 20 and toppled from behind, a gain of 23 on the play. Sean Foreman made the tackle, but for Kevin Ingram, his 17th catch of the season.
Yeah, Graziani reads the defensive back right here. You see Ball. He dropped back to help on that post route, left Ingram underneath wide open. Graziani saw that and made the right throw.
And for those of you playing AFL fantasy football, check out that ticker below. Scores, stats updated each quarter. Of course, Ray Bentley one of the kings of fantasy football, checking it out as well.
Climbing the ladder.
Hopkins now the motion man on the 1st and 10 for the Avengers. Graziani with all day, and then he gets sacked from behind. The ball is loose, but I think Graziani recovered it at the 22-yard line. Graziani sacked for the 6th time this season.
Rod Manuel with the rush, and the reason is Graziani had to hold on to that football. Good coverage in the secondary by Grand Rapids, and Tony had nowhere to go with the ball. See, look, he's patting it, he's holding it, he pumps it. Nowhere to go with it, and that's when Manuel shows up from the backside, and LA fortunate to come up with the ball.
Manuel gets his first sack of the season. The 4th-year pro out of Oklahoma. Former college defensive lineman. So 2nd and long now for the Avengers after the sack. Jackson in motion. Graziani looking for Jackson. Oh, great defensive play at the last second as it got tipped away by Mark Ricks.
You know, and I'm watching Chris Jackson, and I'm not sure that knee is where it needs to be just yet. You know, he had a 2nd-degree strain in his medial collateral. And look, he's not really running smooth like I'm used to seeing Chris Jackson run.
And Ray, we talked to him before the game, and he said cutting to his right is the problem, and he was not explosive there.
Right, that was the post route, so he cuts off that right leg. That's the injured leg, and he said he felt a lot better going to the left.
Go! So now 3rd and 15 for the Avengers. Jackson in motion. Graziani has Ingram. Ingram gets toppled at the 10-yard line by Raphael Ball. The Avengers with a 7-0 lead. Let's check in with Al Troutwig in New York.
Hey, Bob, the Dragons stopped Tampa Bay, then on their first possession take it all the way down. 4th and 10, Aaron Garcia to Richmond Flowers, who exposes his body.
You know, Flowers gets up to that top of the arc to catch that ball. Only he can get it. Does a great job of coming down with that one.
Back to last week, 5 straight stops by the Dragons. Pretty impressive. Back to you, Bob.
All right, thank you very much, Al. Here, Los Angeles with a 7-0 lead. Tony Graziani comes up short, so Remy Hamilton will try a 25-yard field goal. He gets set. Oh, it's a high snap. Sends it, and he misses it left. That's a live ball. Ricks with it. Wants some blocking help. Ingram chases him down and tackles him inside the 10, and there's a flag on the play.
You know, that's why Ingram is the holder instead of Tony Graziani, because you can return those missed field goals, and Ingram is a pretty good tackler.
But how about the hold by Ingram just to get that errant snap?
That was a poor snap, and he reached back and got it down, but I think that affected the rhythm of Remy Hamilton's kick.
First down.
That's the first field goal under 50 yards that Hamilton has missed all year.
Kevin Ingram in pursuit.
Here he is. You see, that's where he gets the face mask right there. And that looked to me like the 10-yard variety. They only put the 5 on him.
So the Avengers miss a field goal. Grand Rapids now with a chance to tie.
The AFL on NBC next Sunday at a special time, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
The AFL on NBC is brought to you by Wendy's Classic Hamburgers. It's better here. By Old Spice. Stay in the zone. And by Bud Light. Fresh, smooth, real. It's all here. We welcome you back to Grand Rapids, Michigan. Bob Papa, Ray Bentley, glad you can join us. Kevin Ingram with an interception in this ball game and then had to make a tackle on a missed field goal. Key defensive player and offensive player for the Los Angeles Avengers. Grand Rapids with the football, 1st and 10. Hewich looking for Smith, and he can't find him. He had a step on Wheeler.
That's a good matchup. Steve Smith going against Damon Wheeler. We talked to Steve Smith, and he said last time they played last year on the field, Wheeler told him that he couldn't take a hit. And Steve's a fiery guy. He didn't take well to that, so he's got a little extra grudge, a little extra motivation going against Wheeler this afternoon.
So Hewich brings the play in. Smith looking for those big plays. Hewich 1 for 5 yards, a fumble, and an interception. 2nd and 10. Hewich slides the pass incomplete. intended for Sean Foreman. And, you know, we're talking about the secondary, Ray. We mentioned it in the very beginning. Los Angeles has had to use a lot of different combinations in their first 5 games.
Yeah, 5 games. They had a bye in week 5 right here, but they've had a different combination start back there every time. Now they've got Wheeler back healthy. He'll be in the middle, and they really like Jason Moore. Picked him up. He played a few years in the NFL, and they like him on that strong side, the wide side. He's a good tackler, and he's a physical player. They like him down there.
Moore, rookie out of San Diego State as far as arena football is concerned. 3rd down. Smith, sliding catch. Good enough for a first down, a gain of 12. And Smith moves the chains for the Rampage.
Smith is such a deep threat that you have to respect him going long, and I think Wheeler gave him a little too much room. When you got 3rd and 10, you want to try and maybe play it a little tougher, but you're going to see Steve Smith knows where those lines are. He actually got Wheeler to turn his shoulders, head upfield. As soon as he had that was his game right there.
Yeah, Smith told us no finger pointing here. We're practicing well despite the 0-5 start, and he loves the challenge to stay mentally strong.
Let's go, fellas, let's go. Ready.
Bush, the motion man, on a 1st and 10 for the Rampage. Bush is open. Bush has a touchdown. Rookie Josh Bush with his 3rd touchdown catch of the season, 25 yards, and Grand Rapids within an extra point of tying it.
Now the key was all the time that Buich had to throw. He's been getting hit just about every time he throws the ball. That time he had the time to let the route develop, and Bush just ran a post route from the backside, and Buich laid it perfectly. See Buich getting things going now after the slow start.
Nick Gatto on for the extra point. Remember, those uprights only 9 feet wide, and he hooks that one left. And misses it.
He didn't look very good on his approach to that. Looked totally out of rhythm.
Gatto now 14 of 18. But Josh Bush gets a touchdown for the Rampage. They're on the board. They trail by 1 here in the 1st.
Going back to that last touchdown, here's Josh Bush. He's running a post route. Look at how wide and outside Kevin Ingram is. He just gives that post route to Bush. I think he expected to have some help on the backside, and it wasn't there.
And Josh Bush able to convert, the rookie out of Western Michigan. 3rd all-time at Western Michigan in receptions, 4th all-time in receiving yards. So look at Kevin Ingram. Henry Douglas back deep to receive this kickoff for the Los Angeles Avengers. They love his speed. He's a rookie in arena football.
Coach Hodges said he's the fastest guy on the team.
He'll sport his wares. He has his seam and then runs into his own man and gets toppled at about the 14-yard line.
And right into Carlos Fowler. Those big guys sometimes you just tell, hey, get out of the way, I'll do it.
So Tony Graziani and his squad stopped on the last possession with the missed field goal, 25-yarder by Remy Hamilton. Check out that ticker below if you're playing AFL fantasy football. Constant updates throughout the course of the afternoon. Graziani on a 1st and 10. That's Joe Douglas in motion. Graziani checks off to Henry Douglas. Douglas stiff arms his way up to about the 22-yard line before he gets pushed out by Raphael Ball. Ed Hotchkiss, the head coach of the Los Angeles Avengers in his 3rd year, 21 wins, 13 losses. Really felt that when we talked to him, this was his team's time, the window of opportunity. Everyone's familiar with the system. He said, I'd rather have guys with experience on my team and give away a little bit of talent for good character people.
Right, this is their chance to go ahead and make a run at an Arena Bowl. They started out 2-0, but they've lost 2 tough ones their last 2 times out.
Jackson in motion, Graziani looking deep, and oh, what a circus catch made by Joe Douglas.
Yeah, I think they got him for pushing off, though.
Douglas was in hand-to-hand combat as he worked his way down the field, and it is offensive interference.
And Josh Bush had the coverage. Bush in great position, and that's really all Douglas could do. Right there, you see the little push underneath, and that's just enough to get called. And that was enough to get Douglas the separation he needed to make a great catch.
Still a spectacular catch.
Yeah, one-hander all the way. Took it off his face mask.
So number 4 gets called for a penalty on number 4. Josh Bush draws the interference, and the touchdown negated. So 2nd and 12 for Los Angeles. Graziani can't find Jackson. Graziani took a shot from Brian Goolsby.
He did take a shot. Brian Goolsby was just bringing a full load right here at the end. You see Goolsby, he was the MAC linebacker, rushed up the middle, and he just put a move on the fullback, Josh Jeffries, and got himself to the quarterback. And that's been a problem for this Grand Rapids team as far as keeping consistent pass rush. When they hit the quarterback, they can do some things.
The fans making some noise here. The Avengers were stopped on a 3rd and 15 in their last possession. This, a 3rd and 12. Graziani under pressure, lost it, and then recovers it at the 5-yard line. Ron Manuel knocked it out, and Graziani quick to recovery.
That's the 2nd sack of the day for Rod Manuel. They got to find a way to block him.
And now Los Angeles on a 4th and long will try a field goal.
Working on Jeremy Stat, and he beats Stat with a hands move to the outside, and Manuel's a smart player. He knew he couldn't get to the quarterback. He saw the football, reached out and knocked it loose.
All right, Remy Hamilton will try a 60-yarder. Ray has a pre-shot routine.
Yeah, you see the hands straight out. That's to keep his back from bending.
Doesn't have enough leg. It's a live ball. Smith. To the wall at the 15-yard line. Silas Demry got a good hit on him. So for the 2nd time in a row, the Avengers get stopped. And now Grand Rapids with a chance to take the lead. It's the AFL on NBC. Welcome back to the AFL on NBC. Bob Papa, Ray Bentley, glad you can join us. Los Angeles a 7-6 lead over Grand Rapids. Silas Demry with that tackle on that missed field goal. LA's been busy during their bye week. For more, here's the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Jack Doles.
Bob, a lot of guys used the bye week to rest their bodies, heal their wounds, but these guys were very active, very productive, the LA players were. Silas Demry, you just saw with that big tackle, well, he found out he and his wife were expecting twins. Remy Hamilton, the kicker, the day after the Georgia game, his wife, Heather, delivered a baby boy, their first child, 6 pounds, 11 ounces. His name's Tate. Remy very proudly says he came out kicking. Ed Hodgkiss, the coach, got engaged. He asked Beth Beauty to marry him. She said yes. They used the week to kind of get ready for the wedding. And Tony Graziani, their flying quarterback, began his new career. You saw him in the NBC studios with Al Troutwig and the gang, and I think it's safe to say, Bob, he's got a career in broadcasting.
You're right, Jack. We talked to Tony during pregame warm-ups, and he said he really enjoyed, Ray, being in the studio last week. A little nervous at the beginning.
Somebody said to him, hey, you did better than Elway, and he said, that's the first time I've ever heard that in my career.
Did a fine job last week and an outstanding quarterback. 1st and 10, and that pass gets batted away by Carlos Fowler of Los Angeles. Hey, Ray, interesting here. Los Angeles gets the quick turnover. They get the touchdown to start the game. Now they've been stopped in their last 2 possessions. Coming into this weekend, overall offensive scoring possession, Los Angeles was 1st in all of arena football, scoring on 85% of their possessions. Right now they're 1 for 3.
Right, they've been stopped twice, and the reason is the pass rush from the Rampage. They've hit Graziani 3 times, sacked him twice, caused 2 fumbles already. They gotta stop that.
Smith in motion. Buich on a 2nd and 10. Has Smith wide open. He beat Wheeler, and then Wheeler makes the tackle at the 12-yard line. A gain of 22 for Steve Smith.
This is just a sign of Smith and Buich getting on the same page together, because Wheeler's going to be covering Smith here. Both those other receivers are going to run short routes. So see how high he is on top here? That means that receiver cuts that route off and runs, instead of a post, runs it shallow, and it's a perfect matchup from Buich to Steve Smith.
And that is how the first quarter ends. Grand Rapids getting a couple of defensive stops, trailing by 1, and they have an opportunity to gain the lead. Los Angeles has dropped their last 2. Grand Rapids comes in at 0-5, but the Rampage moving the football They have a chance to take the lead. You're watching the AFL on NBC. Get set for the start of the second quarter. Grand Rapids with the ball, down 1. Head coach Bob Cortez pumping his team up.
Okay, right. Hey. He's going to be playing the post. Okay, so watch the corner. You got to give me room. You got to give him room for the corner. He's going to be playing the post, so he'll be in like this. He'll be coming here, coming back to the corner. So you just read it though. You read him. Hey, I need a lot of protection so we can get ahead of him. Get it in there. Hey, I need a lot of protection. A lot of protection.
Coach Cortez getting the play ready. They're going to go for a touchdown right here. They're going to put Steve Smith in motion, and he's reading the post to the corner, and they expect the corner to be open. This is a double move type play. Buich does need plenty of time to make this happen.
Smith in motion. Pass deflected and intercepted by Wheeler. A one-handed interception, and Grand Rapids has turned it over for the 3rd time here in the first half.
I think that was Greg Hopkins who tipped the football right in that throwing lane.
Damian Wheeler's 2nd pick of the year.
Right there's Hopkins. Watch him. He gets in that throwing lane because Smith was open. He was a step ahead of Wheeler, and Hopkins tipped the football, and it goes right to Wheeler. I think Hopkins is the best defensive jack linebacker in all of arena football. He knows where the quarterback's going with the football. He knows where to position himself in that box.
Wheeler gets the pick. Los Angeles dodges a bullet. 1st and 10 from their own 1. Grand Rapids with 3 turnovers here in the first half. Graziani looking for Ingram. He's got him inside the 20-yard line of Grand Rapids. So now Los Angeles trying to respond, leading by 1 as we check in back in New York with Al Troutman.
Hey, Bob, the Dragons continue to stop the Tampa Bay Storm. Meanwhile, on offense, it's tough to defend this.
Yeah, it sure is, especially when the DB believes it's going to be a pick route and doesn't even disdain to get over to make a tackle.
Meanwhile, Bob, last week we heard all about the Philly cheesesteak from Ray Bentley. What do you eat when you go to Grand Rapids? Back to you.
All right, Al. Well, Ray, what is the?
Whatever my wife's cooking.
There you go.
It's hometown, so you don't get many choices.
Ray recently moving back to Grand Rapids, where he grew up. Rampage had a chance to take the lead, turned it over. Graziani gets hit, but he delivers it to Hopkins, and Hopkins is plowing his way inside the 10, right near the 1st down marker. Josh Bush, the tackle. Ray, you know, talking about Hopkins, as we get a look at him making that catch, he'll play most of the game, both ways in special teams. You know, he told us a couple weeks ago he likes to play the front of that box on defense, and that's why he was able to get that tip.
Yeah, he's just an outstanding football player. 2002 Iron Man of the league in this league, and he is a true Iron Man. He plays a lot of minutes during this game.
1st and goal. Jackson the motion man. Los Angeles by 1 here in the 2nd. Graziani has Ingram, touchdown. Kevin Ingram hauls in a touchdown catch, his 6th touchdown grab of the year, and Los Angeles widens their lead.
That's a heck of a throw by Tony Graziani. I mean, he just stuck that on Ingram. Watch this. They're going to come and they're going to clear the middle with the motion there. Ingram's right here. He's going to run the slant in underneath it. The man over the top had to try and get there and wasn't able to. That's ball, but that's good recognition, good clear out, and then Graziani right on the money.
Hamilton for the extra point. He's missed only 1 this season. Snap is good, and I put the horns on him as he misses his 2nd. He just hooked it left, so Hamilton misses only his 2nd extra point of the season. Each team has missed an extra point here in this ball game, so the margin at this point is only 7 and 13 to 6. Kevin Ingram with a touchdown catch. Los Angeles in front. You're watching the AFL on NBC. The AFL on NBC is brought to you by ADT, America's residential and commercial security leader. Call 1-800-ADT-ASAP. And by Baby Ruth from Nestle, the real deal. Bob Papa, Ray Bentley, Jack Doles. We welcome you back to Grand Rapids, Michigan. The Los Angeles Avengers with a 13-6 lead over Grand Rapids. The Rampage have turned it over 3 times in this ball game. as Remy Hamilton gets set to kick off for Los Angeles.
Right, and if you had told me they'd turned it over 3 times in the first 18 minutes of the game and still only trailed by 7, I never would have believed it. Their defense has kept them in this thing so far.
Yeah, they've gotten a couple of stops as Hamilton gets set to boot the ball away. Not deep enough, and Smith will field it cleanly. Smith hit by Lucas and dropped just short of the 10-yard line. Well, it's time to take a look at the Baby Ruth Offensive Player of the Week.
He's playing with a bum left ankles this week. The other one. Absolutely. So that's 9 touchdowns for Aaron Garcia.
Each and every week we'll select the Baby Ruth Offensive Player of the Week. Aaron Garcia, a couple touchdown passes today for New York against Tampa Bay. As Grand Rapids tries to get their offense going, and Jeremy Dutcher makes the catch, and he is from right here in Grand Rapids. And Ray, he was the first one with his uniform on today.
Yeah, we talked to him earlier. He was a bundle of nerves. He's all excited and keyed up about playing in front of the home crowd for the first time. He's an interesting story. He's traveled a long ways to get to the Arena Football League, and he's 30 years old. He's in his 2nd season in the league. He played 2 games for Detroit in 2002, but he's worked very hard to get himself on this football field.
Played at Ottawa Hills High School here in Grand Rapids. His father a coach, local football coach. 2nd and short, and Grand Rapids runs it with Goolsby, who's able to pick up the first down to the 20-yard line.
It's going to be close to the first down. I think with the mark there, it's just short of the line. They're going to be just short.
We're talking about Jeremy Dutcher, 45 tickets for this game.
That's his father right there, Jerry Dutcher, who coached football in the Grand Rapids area for many, many years. Retired a few years back. He's still a teacher at Ottawa Hills, and he's really kind of guided his son through this football career.
Well, Grand Rapids faces a 3rd and inches, and Jeremy Dutcher and the rest of the Grand Rapids Rampage will huddle up as they call a timeout, trailing by 7 against Los Angeles. '30-year-old Jeremy Dutcher, Grand Rapids own, well-traveled, has a catch in this ball game. And Ray, he has taken a long road as you get a look.
Right, he's got his own cheering squad.
Club,
that's his dad holding up the Go Dutch sign right there. And you know, he had an interesting trip to get to the Arena Football League. He went to Michigan Tech for a year and a half. It was too cold. That's up north in the Upper Peninsula. So he came back. He worked at Weller Automotive for a couple of years, and then St. Francis was starting up a football program. They wanted some experienced, seasoned guys, and so he went there and really played well for 3 years. And he's played the last 2 seasons for the Ohio Valley Greyhounds and the Fort Wayne Freedom in the NIFL.
3rd and inches, and they'll run it, and Goolsby converts on the first down. So Grand Rapids gets a fresh set of downs, trailing by 7. For another update, here's Al Troutman.
Hey, Bob, the story of Richmond Flowers III continues to be a great one. Here he'll catch his 2nd touchdown of the day. Dragons routing Tampa Bay. What kind of a teammate was he in Dallas, Joey?
He's a good guy. Goes hard all the time, 100% every day, hits the field.
That's Joey Galloway. He joins Glenn Parker and I. Halftime, 20-0. New York leads. Back to you, Bob.
All right, thanks, Elliot. We had a chance to talk with Richmond Flowers a couple of weeks ago. He had that bad hip injury, and in the first game, he had a chance to run into the wall for the first time. He liked it.
Yeah, he liked it a lot.
Buich completes it to Smith, trying to make a big play, lost the football, and again, Grand Rapids turns it over.
Wow.
Their 2nd fumble of the game, their 4th turnover here in the first half.
Well, you know, I watched Steve Smith on tape, and a number of times he'll run himself into the ground. You know, he makes this catch. He realizes there's a guy behind him, so he's going the wrong way for a minute there. But he makes so many quick moves that he ends up tackling himself. And that time he lost the football. That's just a terrible mistake by Steve Smith. See right there that the ground caused the fumble, but that can happen as long as he's not touched.
And Al Lucas recovered it. And, you know, Grand Rapids came into this game losing 4 of 6 fumbles. They've already fumbled twice in this ball game. Jackson in motion. Graziani looking, and he's got his man for a touchdown. Ingram, what a great catch by Ingram. His 2nd touchdown catch of the ball game. 22 yards.
That's the same play they used earlier to Ingram, where it's a double go. He'll fake pump the football. His receivers run a short route, turn, and then head down the field, and Graziani throws a perfect strike. See, there's the pump fake, and now he just lays it up over the top, and Ingram got a step on Raphael Ball, and he takes it to the end zone.
So Graziani throwing his second touchdown pass. That gives him 198 for his career.
It's a typical LA drive, a one-play drive.
Hamilton's extra point is good after he missed the last one. And the Los Angeles Avengers, Kevin Ingram, got an interception in this ball game and a couple of touchdown catches. And right now the Avengers in front by 14. Tony Graziani has thrown a pair of touchdown passes, 28 on the season, 198 for his career.
Yeah, and he hasn't hit Chris Jackson with much yet, and so he's on the bench, and he actually had a couple words for Chris, trying to keep him going.
Hey, look at me. I love you, bro. Right? I don't like to see you like this. Let's go. All right? I'm Nate. You don't have to do that. Just bump it up like you usually do. Let's go.
Well, on the last touchdown pass to Ingram, Jackson was so wide open, and Graziani elected to throw it to Ingram. Before every game, Hopkins, Jackson, and Graziani get together, and Graziani tells those two receivers, you're the best in the game, and they tell Graziani, you're the best quarterback. It's kind of like that big three.
That's what he's talking about, pumping each other up, and that's what Graziani did right there. That's good leadership to me, because you know, when your guys are down, you build them up. Let the coaches yell at people. Players got to help each other out, pat them on the back.
Hamilton with the kickoff. Smith fields it cleanly. Smith nearly ran out of a tackle from Chris Butterfield at the 14-yard line. There is a flag on the play as well.
This Grand Rapids offense has to find a way to hang on to the football. I mean, this
Number 44 on the kicking team was offside, 5 yards from the end of the run, first down.
So penalty on Los Angeles.
Right, this is how you lose a football game. You fumble, you get it intercepted, you get another one intercepted, and you fumble. And look at this, all 20 of LA's points have come off of those turnovers. They played well on defense so far, but the offense just hasn't been able to hold on to the football.
And that has really hurt Grand Rapids. They've had a chance to take the lead or even tie the game, and turnovers have killed them. Buich. Smith. Knocked down by Ingram at the 19-yard line. It's a first down and a gain of 12. Well, Champ Sports is the official athletic retailer of the Arena Football League. Visit Champ Sports for the best selection of official AFL merchandise and apparel, jerseys, t-shirts, hats, footballs, and much, much more. You can get that new football, that new AFL football with the crosshairs in it, of course, team jersey. I'm still waiting when I go into Champs. I don't see the Ray Bentley jersey yet. The NBC Ray Bentley jersey.
You probably won't see that one.
Sullivan, the motion man. Buich just gets back to the line of scrimmage. Chris Butterfield on the tackle.
He was supposed to hand that football off, and he didn't get it over there in time, and so the mesh wasn't there with the fullback. Right here's Chris Enneking, the fullback, big number 77. This is his first experience at fullback. He's an offensive lineman. Grand Rapids lost a couple of fullbacks. They had Ron Perry and Chris Avery, both of them injured this week, so they move Enneking back there, and they get better protection that way, but they don't get a lot out of the running with Mr. Enneking.
2nd and 10 for the Rampage. Buich has Sullivan inside the 15 to about the 14-yard line. Hopkins and Ingram on the tackle. Grand Rapids turning it over quite a bit. Let's get an update with Al Troutway.
Bob, it wasn't working in a passing sense for Tampa Bay, so they handed it off to a very big man by the name of David White.
Yeah, you know, a linebacker from the Buffalo Bills when I was there, he must have liked something I did because he became an offensive threat for Tampa Bay, bullying his way in for that touchdown.
So Tampa Bay is on the board with their first score of the day. New York still leading big, 20-7. Back to Grand Rapids.
Did I just hear Glenn Parker take credit for a David White touchdown? Amazing.
Maybe he has him in his fantasy team. Smith, the motion man, on 3rd down. Buich can't find his receiver Foreman, and flags flying everywhere. He got hit early.
Yeah, Jason Moore, the corner, got there a little quick on the slant route.
Pass interference. Number 24 on the defense. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
So Moore called for the penalty. He's a 28-year-old out of San Diego State.
Yeah, he's just learning arena football. Here he is right here. He sees that slant route. He gets a little bit of a late break. You see Steve Smith carry on. We didn't get to actually see that, but Moore is just learning arena football. You know, he's only played 2 games. This is his 3rd game, and so he's got to settle in and get the timing down on the smaller field.
First and goal for Grand Rapids as they look for their 2nd touchdown of the game. Smith in motion. He'll take the handoff, and oh man, what a play by Joe Douglas, who came storming into the backfield and dropped Smith for a loss of 2.
Douglas, actually, when Chris Jackson was out, he took the role of offensive specialist, and he played offensive specialist for the Chicago Rush a couple years ago, and he's a very good offensive player, but he showed you here he can do it on defense as well.
Tremendous athlete. Let's get a look at Doug Kay, the defensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Avengers.
Talking into the walkie-talkie there. That's how they chart their plays. He'll tell the guy upstairs, this is what we're running, so they keep track of that stuff. They can look at it at halftime.
2nd and goal. Smith in motion. Buich under pressure, and he just throws it away as Butterfield got a hit on the quarterback. Ray, this is such a critical possession for Grand Rapids. They had a chance down 7-6 to take the lead. They turned it over. Then down 7, had a chance to tie. They turned it over. They need to get the ball in the end zone and get a touchdown and not let Los Angeles sprint away from them.
This is a key possession for him. And Buich missed Steve Smith. He had him open, had to hold the ball too long, and then that's when Butterfield showed up and made the hit on the quarterback.
Well, somebody's O is going to go. Grand Rapids 0-5. The Avengers have lost their last 2. One of those losing streaks is going to end. Grand Rapids making mistakes, but still in it. 3rd and goal. Buich looking for his receiver, and a twisting Foreman is able to haul it in for a touchdown. Sean Foreman with a great athletic play. A 9-yard touchdown pass, and boy, did he battle to get that score.
Just a sluggo, we call this route, where you fake the slant and then run the go up behind him. And this is a good thrown ball by Buich. You know, you got to throw it up there, give your guy a chance. He just dropped it off the roof right over the top, and Foreman stays with it. That's a heck of an effort by Foreman, bringing that in with a defender draped all over him.
Yeah, Moore was all over him. Foreman, his 2nd touchdown catch of the season. Gatto on for the extra point. He's missed 1. That time he knocks it right through. So Los Angeles, despite 4 turnovers here in the first half, trail Los Angeles by 7 with 3:22 to go in the 2nd. As Anthony Buich with the touchdown pass.
That was a great throw from Anthony Buich. He threw it where only Foreman could come up with it, had it up in the air long enough for Foreman to get the separation, get himself gathered to make a play on the football.
You get a look at that ticker. Anthony Buich's numbers improving with 2 touchdown passes. Of course, they're playing AFL fantasy football like Ray Bentley, Glenn Parker, and over 30,000 other fans. Check that ticker below. All the stats will be updated each quarter here on NBC.
That was a big answer from the Grand Rapids Rampage. After the 4 turnovers and, you know, down 2 scores, to come back and get back into it, that's a huge lift for this football team.
Bob Cortez, the head coach of the Grand Rapids Rampage, I'll tell you what, he likes the way his team keeps competing. And they have really battled and hung in there this season despite some adversity.
Yeah, he's actually released 8 different players, including his starting quarterback in Robert Hall for a couple of games. Damon Hodge, who was a leading receiver when they waived him. And he said he's trying to get rid of the pretenders and get the guys that really want to work with him.
He just says, I'll keep weeding them out until I find guys that are going to play.
You know what, and that's what you got to do.
Is this onside kick territory?
Yeah, and LA is set to defend against that. They've got 6 guys up front. You see them all right up here.
Gatto boots it away instead. Henry Douglas, the rookie, on the return. Douglas, a burner, shakes 1 tackle and then dropped at the 15-yard line, and that's where Los Angeles will take over 1st and 10. Well, coming up next on NBC, it's the final round coverage of the Honda Classic. And right now, Todd Hamilton, the leader through 3 rounds, but guys like Davis, Love in pursuit. That's the final round coverage of the Honda Classic coming up next here on NBC. Frederick Jakobsen in the mix, 4 shots back. Chris Riley, as you get a look at the leaderboard, that is through 3 rounds. Davis Love, the third, poised. He can go low at any time, especially if the winds aren't blowing. You'll see it here on NBC. 1st and 10 for Los Angeles. Jackson, the motion man. Graziani goes right to Jackson, and he's got a first down to the Grand Rapids 23. And you know that Graziani was going to get Jackson involved.
Yeah, that's what you call a bridge builder, a confidence builder. Get Jackson back in there, making him feel like he's a part of the deal. They isolate him on the backside. He's the motion man here, and they just run a little hitch route where he runs up 6 yards, turns around, falls on time, and Jackson does what he does best, run after the catch.
You sort of see under Jackson's uniform on that left leg, he's got that knee brace on. And cut to his left. 1st and 10, Jackson in motion. Graziani, little shovel pass to Jeffries. Jeffries gets dropped to the 15-yard line. There is a flag on the play. Tackle made by Mark Ricks.
17, Mark Ricks. Penalty.
Yeah, when they throw a flag behind the linebackers, that generally indicates some kind of infraction and illegal defense.
Barry Havener getting it sorted out.
Illegal formation. Number 91 on the defense was lined up too wide. It's 5 yards from the previous spot. Replay, 1st down.
That was Tito Simpson, one of the defensive linemen. Ray, obviously there are certain parameters in which you can line up in arena football, both for the linebackers and the line.
Well, the defensive linemen have to line up on this man. They can line up on the outside shoulder here, but he was too wide. Once you get outside and there's space in between you, daylight in between, that's an illegal formation on the defense, 5 yards.
Go. So a 1st and 5 for Los Angeles, leading it by 7. And again, flags fly.
It's Tito Simpson again, got the early start. And you can tell they're guilty when they start pointing at the other team.
Number 92 on the offense.
And he was right that time.
So Carlos Fowler called for the false start. Fowler, the 1997 AFL Lineman of the Year.
There's Fowler right there. You see the little hiccup, and that's enough to draw Simpson offside.
So they get the 5 back. Fowler in his 9th year out of Wisconsin. Graziani has the play. And we reset at 1st and 10.
LA loves to throw to the tight end in this area of the football field.
Go. Jackson in motion. Henry Douglas with the catch. Rafael Ball on the tackle, and that takes us to the 1-minute timing rules. 57 seconds to go here in the first half of play. Los Angeles leading Grand Rapids by 7. You're watching the AFL on NBC.
Ballin' out of control, I floss on, flame on, pinball, speed even, pedal to the metal when I'm in the zone. Hang on, cause it gone. Way out to the wind, you know I want to win, like it's the ball and the throw some. Receivers running the wrong way, so we get back and score a lot of points, and you never know front. Trying to make them a fiddle with them, some adrenaline, and I'm hitting them, send them to the cemetery. Put the game on hard like a fall to dice, you know I was nice when you saw how many win up. AFL, there's a brother in the house, tell me who that, I got a sack over. And my arm got an aim so strong that I might crack the track from back to back door. Get the victory, now we roll. It's the dream of football. Yeah.
Atlantic recording artist Twista putting some arena football lyrics to his song Higher. You're watching the AFL on NBC. Tony Graziani and the Los Angeles Avengers trying to widen their lead. Graziani 2 touchdown passes, 198 for his career, looking for more. Now remember, under 1 minute to go in the half in the game, the clock will stop on incompletions or players getting out of bounds. 1 minute timing rules as Jackson goes in motion. Jackson inside the 10. He's got a first down to about the 6-yard line. Ball popped free, but the play blown dead. Well, don't forget, coming up in the half, it's the Wendy's halftime report. News, scores, highlights from around the league, plus Dallas Cowboys wide receiver Joey Galloway, a minority owner of the Columbus Destroyers, will join Alan Glenn in the studio. And they have a special feature on New York Dragons quarterback Aaron Garcia. That's the Wendy's halftime report with Al, Glenn, and Joey. Of course, all those rumors about Joey Galloway getting traded to Tampa Bay with the Keyshawn Johnson situation. Joey wants to stay in Dallas with the Cowboys. Obviously involved in arena football. We saw in the pregame show and checking out his team last night against Philadelphia.
Yeah, it's kind of getting it from a different perspective as an owner now, and he's seeing what some of those guys go through.
Well, Grand Rapids has done a decent job in this ball game of slowing down the offense of Los Angeles. They've gotten a couple of stops, and boy, if they could get one right here, well, that would be huge. Yeah, and I talked about that pass rush, and LA's got to try and slow that Grand Rapids rush down. They've gone to 3-step drops. The last 3 throws from Graziani, all 3-step drops. Jackson will be the motion man for the Avengers, leading it by 7. Jeffries takes the handoff, and great linebacker play by Goolsby. And Tito Simpson, the defensive lineman, right there, and another timeout called by Grand Rapids.
Yeah, good move by Bob Cortez. He's trying to save as much clock as he can. 38 seconds left in the half. If LA were to score, he wants to leave enough time for his team to get a chance to get some points back onto the board.
Ray, talk about the strategy in arena football, especially when you get to within this 1 minute of the half, because the game is so explosive. It's almost as if some basketball time management principles come into football.
You want to have the last possession. You want to have the football and be the last one to have a chance to score. And so both teams are working the clock. Grand Rapids trying to save time, LA trying to chew up as much time as possible.
So 2nd and goal coming up for Los Angeles. You get a look at that new football this year in the AFL. Douglas in motion. He'll take the handoff. Douglas inside the 5, and it gets swallowed up at about the 3-yard line.
Grand Rapids is out of timeouts now, so you see Ed Hotchkiss just let that clock run. Doesn't want to save any time for Grand Rapids to answer.
It'll be 3rd down and goal to go.
And he'll let it roll for a while, get it down around 10-12, and take a timeout himself, more than likely.
Graziani signaling the timeout with 9 seconds to go. So Ed Hotchkiss managing the clock, 33 years of age, spent 4 years as the offensive coordinator with Indiana. Won an AFL title in 1999. Let's listen.
Or you want to work CJ on something?
No.
What? Okay. So whips right, jab. Whips, no, let's do that. Let's go. Whips, you still have Douglas coming around, all right? Obviously, don't take a second. Be able to kick the field goal. Whips right, chip. 50 minutes back.
All right, you see Chris Jackson out of the plans. Tony's not real confident in him right now, and I think that has to do with the leg. He's not 100%. So he's got Joe Douglas coming around on motion. He's got a couple of whip routes where they run inside and then whip back out to the outside.
3 receivers bunched to the right. Graziani to the end zone, and Douglas with the catch right in front of Ricks for the touchdown. Joe Douglas.
Well, you just can't cover Douglas any tighter than what Ricks had him, but the throw was just perfect.
So Mark Ricks on Joe Douglas, but he can't stay with him.
There's Douglas in the middle. Ricks right here. He's just going to come through and race him to the wall over here, and he wins the race. That's not bad defense by Ricks. Stays on it. That's just a perfect throw.
And Ray, credit to that offensive line for giving Graziani time as well. Hamilton for the extra point. And he puts it right down the middle. So Los Angeles managing the clock in the final minute of this first half. And they put 7 on the board, and they lead it 27-13 with 4 seconds remaining in the half.
Joe Douglas happy about that touchdown reception. You know, with Chris Jackson back in the lineup, Douglas goes to his usual spot behind Greg Hopkins, and Hopkins plays most of the game. So Douglas doesn't get many opportunities with Jackson healthy, so he'll take every chance he can get. Watch this throw by Graziani. That's just a perfect spot.
He's thrown 199 touchdown passes in his career. And when he gets to 200, he'll be the 14th player in AFL history to reach 200. He'll be the 2nd fastest. Mike Perez reached 200 touchdown passes in 37 games. So Graziani putting up numbers quickly.
Right, this is the 38th game for Graziani, so he's right on the heels of the great start that Perez had in this league.
Interestingly, Greg Hopkins' first ever NFL catch was Perez's 199th.
Right.
Will Hopkins be the one to haul in Graziani's 200th? Smith back deep. Remember, he has 2 return for touchdowns.
Yeah, he's always a threat, and that's the only thing Grand Rapids can hang a hat on here is hopefully spring Steve Smith. wouldn't be surprised to see Remy Hamilton hit a grounder in this situation.
Hamilton set to kick off with 4 seconds to go. And instead, he'll send it deep to the dangerous Smith. Flanks it off the iron nicely. That's a live ball. It's loose and finally picked up by Grand Rapids. And that's Dutcher down the sideline and finally dragged down at the 5.
Great hustle by Moore.
Jason Moore saved a touchdown on Grand Rapids native Jeremy Dutcher.
This is a heads-up play. This is a tough bounce. Look at this thing. It's anybody's ball at this point, live football, and Dutcher scoops it up, and he's got a window down the sideline, and if it's not for the hustle of Moore, he'd have been in the end zone. Here's another look at a crazy bounce, and that's, you see Grand Rapids is in good position to field the ball, and Dutcher heads up. He's supposed to be blocking somebody. Saw the ball bouncing around, scooped it up, and he was off to the races until the hustling Moore stops him just shy of the end zone.
Well, despite getting stopped twice, Los Angeles has been very beneficial as far as Grand Rapids. Grand Rapids has turned it over 4 times. Los Angeles leads it by 14. Now we send it to Al Troutwig in New York for the Wendy's AFL on NBC halftime report.
This is the Wendy's AFL on NBC halftime report.
And welcome to NBC Sports World Headquarters. Al Troutwig along with Glenn Parker, and our special guest today is Joey Galloway of the Dallas Cowboys. We'll talk about his NFL status a little bit later, but first, as we welcome in the part owner of the Columbus Destroyers, you try to overcome 4 turnovers. It's not easy to do in this league.
It's extremely tough to do. We, on defense, in Columbus, we talk about if we can get 3 stops, we got a chance to win. 4 turnovers in the first half, it's going to be tough to win.
What about these fumbles? Is it coaching? Is it the players? What is it?
It's discipline. The players have to be disciplined in the way they carry the ball and what they do, and defense has to be disciplined to put their helmet on the ball and get it out. The team that has the best coaching, the most discipline, is going to get those turnovers.
All right, the New York Dragons are playing a visitor to the Tampa Bay Storm at home today. Both teams are 2-3. Here's how we go. The Dragons with Aaron Garcia, and of course, he's had a fabulous season so far.
Yeah, great out to Lincoln Dupree. The DB doesn't get out. He thinks it's a pick, never gets close to making a tackle on Dupree. In for the score, easy.
Hey, Joey, here are those stops you're talking about. Going back to last week, New York created 7 straight stops. That's off the charts. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. That's way too much defense. They must be in the wrong league.
You know, and Pat O'Hara never found his rhythm in these first few drives. It took him quite a while. He was off on most of his throws. You see it happening there.
3rd generation with the name Richmond Flowers. All over the field, making stops there, tackles there, creating fumbles, and on the receiving end of 2 touchdown passes.
I want to take a little credit for Richmond today.
Okay, you go ahead.
He was a teammate of mine in Dallas. You took credit for David White's touchdown. I got to take some credit for Richmond having a great day.
Okay. I'll take credit for doing the score then. 20-14 in the final ticks of the first half, but clearly Tampa Bay has some quarterback issues, and as I mentioned a little while ago when we first came out on the air, New York does not. However, this is not the Aaron Garcia we've gotten used to, and actually an interception.
Yeah, well, I think you should take credit for that interception now.
Okay, I will.
Interception's yours.
Okay, I'll take that. Now, as you talk about the New York Dragons, this season is different because a lot of focus was put on the Tampa Bay Storm because they had a slow start again last year, but it's all different this year in this league. It's not 12 teams making the playoffs, it's only 8. That's got to change everybody's focus.
You got to win early, and there's some teams like New York and Tampa Bay who thought they'd be a little better than they are. As they sit at 2-3, they got to win some games.
Well, I agree with you. I don't think you get out of this early like you did last time. They started so slow in New York the last time. I don't think that happens this year. You've got to be up.
Let's recap the game you've been watching. Of course, Grand Rapids without a win so far. Anthony Buich is their quarterback, trying to get his team to keep up with Tony Graziani and the LA Avengers.
Well, you got to wonder how Bush gets this wide open, and the DB never plays over the top on him, never squeezes that route out, and of course, they miss the extra point kickers.
Some tough luck here.
Well, you know, Anthony Buich here again has it deflected. If it's picked off, Damon Wheeler grabs it. The story here is turnovers in this game. 2 fumbles, 2 picks for Grand Rapids. Graziani, as always, right off a turnover, will seek to go straight to the end zone and capitalize there. He found Ingram. Here, great reception. Coughs up the ball. Avengers grab it. What's Graziani going to do? He's going to go right the next play, try to hit Ingram in the end zone, does so. LA up big 20-6 at this point.
Joey, it's like the flu. It demoralizes the team when they start coming in bunches.
And you can see the receivers really have a lot of credit for Graziani because they go after the ball and they put their body in a lot of harm to go get it for him.
Here are the numbers on Tony Graziani, who was with us in studio last week. Darn good, 11 of 13 for 145 yards. Of course, if Jason Moore could get a few yards extra out of that last-second play, this would be a totally different game. We'll see in a moment as we check in on what's going on with Joey Galloway's Dallas Cowboys status after this.
You're only as good as your next performance.
Go! Touchdown! Back of the end zone.
Look at the clock!
Touchdown! Come on, feel the rumble in the house.
Welcome back to the Wendy's Halftime Report. Al Troutwick with Glenn Parker and our special guest this week, Joey Galloway. He of the Dallas Cowboys and, of course, a part owner of the Columbus Destroyers. But let's talk about the NFL story. We've hinted at it. We haven't gotten to it. What's the deal? Bill Parcells has always loved Keyshawn Johnson. Does he not love Joey Galloway?
Well, I don't know, but I do know he likes Keyshawn. And Keyshawn's a bigger guy that can go inside, make plays over the middle. It's not my style. I want to stay outside, go down the field a little bit. So it looks like Keyshawn will be in Dallas, and I may be somewhere else.
Are you allowed right now to talk to Tampa Bay to see if something can be worked out?
We have been talking to Tampa Bay. We're not sure if anything is going to get done. It's not done now. The way the NFL works, you never really know.
So it can be a trade, or you could be released after June 2nd, become a free agent. Which would you prefer?
You know what? To be honest, I'd like to be traded. I'd like to get somewhere earlier in the year so I can start working towards getting ready for the season. If I wait till June, who knows where I'll end up. Takes a little bit more time. Training camp's right around the corner.
And Joey, the team made a very forward-thinking move when they brought in Drew Henson. He's gotten a lot of attention, having tried that New York Yankees thing that didn't work out. You're at a transitional point in your career. Are you looking forward to the chance of catching some balls from this guy, or have you, in your mind, moved on?
You know what? I don't think I'll be in Dallas. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that Henson will be the quarterback. I think, you know, the way Quincy Carter improved from the season before to last season, he may still be the guy.
Well, now, we alluded to it a little bit about system. What type of system fits you best?
I go down the field. I'm a stretch the field guy. I get the defensive backs running, you know, and that allows you to do things underneath, or it allows you to go deep. I need to go deep.
Interesting stuff. Meanwhile, back to the AFL, some news this week. The Indiana Firebirds hadn't won a game, so they ousted former 18-year NFL quarterback Steve DeBerg as their head coach, taking over as defensive coordinator Mike Wilpolt. We'll see if he can turn things around like Todd Shell did, for example, with New York last year. Now, New York beat the San Jose SaberCats last week. Out for the season, injured in that game, was Cleavon Thomas, the two-time Defensive Player of the Year. So the SaberCats have that hole to fill. Talking about the Dragons once again, Aaron Garcia was so good last week. He threw for 9 touchdowns and hit for 19 of 21 passes. This week, he's the top-rated quarterback in the Arena Football League.
Here we go, here we go.
I grew up in Sacramento, California. My father was actually a quarterback, and it was a position that I always, you know, watched, and it's something that I've always wanted to do.
He's unbelievable, and he's one of the toughest guys that I've ever met, and that makes for a great quarterback.
Don't give in, all right? Don't give up.
He's willing to hold the ball a little bit longer, get his receivers an opportunity to get open, even though he knows he's going to get hit. I've always believed that the guys who do it on the field are the guys that get the respect. And Aaron Garcia has the respect of everybody on this team and everybody that's ever seen him played or played against him.
As a quarterback, obviously, your #1 job is to win games and win a championship. Coach Shell coming in last year, and then the turnaround we had last year, I think this is, you know, realistically the best chance I've had.
If I could only express how annoying Glenn Parker was while that piece was being played.
Well,
about as annoying as defensive guys have been to Aaron Garcia. I don't know if a quarterback in this league gets hit as hard as he does.
We watch it week in and week out. He constantly gets nailed, thrown into the boards, bent over the boards. He is a tough guy.
Joey, I was interested before we went on the air today talking just, you know, having fun. Maybe one day you could play in this league after you've been in the NFL for 15 years, and you brought up the wall like a major mind thing. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I think I'd like to avoid the wall. I'll stay out of the arena. You know, when I watch these guys play, I have a lot of respect for them because they play the game, regardless of where the wall is, they just go after it and smack the wall, get up and come back to the huddle. I don't want to hit the wall.
Meanwhile, enjoying this football today with you, it's amazing the passion that you have for the Destroyers as a team.
I'm enjoying it. I'm learning as we go, and I'm excited about winning in Columbus.
All right, that's Joey Galloway. Glenn Parker and I will be carrying you through with all the updates in the second half. Enjoy the Arena Football League Week 6 here on NBC.
This has been the Wendy's AFL on NBC Halftime Report.
Welcome back to Grand Rapids, Michigan. At the half, the Los Angeles Avengers lead the Grand Rapids Rampage 27-13. Bob Papa along with Ray Bentley. Grand Rapids has had some opportunities in that first half. They'll have to stop making mistakes. And Ray, it's time for our GM Good Wrench expert advice.
Well, I'm the expert, but it doesn't take an expert to tell you that Grand Rapids has to start holding on to the football. It's been a horrible first half for them in terms of turnovers. They've lost 2 fumbles. Buich has thrown 2 interceptions. This is their first drive. And he loses a handle on the ball, not being touched, and Steve Smith trying to make something special happen, loses the football. So Grand Rapids, they just hold on to the football and keep playing good defense now. They've gotten good pressure on Tony Graziani. There's the sack and the forced fumble by Rod Manuel. They need to come up with those footballs when they come on the ground. But they're playing well on defense. Now for Los Angeles, they need to get Jackson in action. Right now he has just 2 catches. Now he scored the first touchdown of the game on the ground. But I don't know that Tony Graziani has confidence in Chris Jackson right now. And I think in large part it's because of that knee injury. It's bothering him. He's not able to go full speed, and he's having trouble cutting to his right.
All right, just a couple of moments ago, our own Jack Doles had a chance to catch up with Grand Rapids head coach Bob Cortez.
Thanks, Bob. Rampage trailing 27-13 at halftime. Bob, 4 turnovers in that first half.
Can't win games doing that, but we're only down 2 touchdowns. That's a good thing. If we can protect and we can get after them, we can beat them. We can beat their secondary with our receivers. We just need time, and we have to give their quarterback a little more heat so that we can get after him, make him move around. He's not quite as good when he moves around.
How fragile are these guys right now?
Pardon me?
How fragile are these guys right now?
I don't know. I'll let you know after the half. Right now, going in there, they all seem like they want to come out and put it together. They want to stop them on the first series. If we can get a stop, that might fire us up and be able to get another touchdown and get back into this thing.
All right, thanks, Bob. Rampage need a big second half to pick up their first win of the season. Bob?
All right, thanks, Jack. You know, in the first half, the Rampage got a huge stop, down 1, chance to take the lead. They turned it over. So you get a look at Ingram getting ready to return this kickoff for Los Angeles.
Ingram has had a heck of a game. He's already Iron Man of the game, and we're only at halftime. The leading receiver has an interception, plays on special teams. He's doing it all.
Ingram has a big seam as he gets across the 15 to about the 17-yard line, a 22-yard return. Now the State Farm Drive summaries of the game.
Los Angeles.
Usually when you talk about Los Angeles in a drive summary, you're going to see not a whole lot of plays. 1 play for a touchdown, 1 play for a touchdown. That's their style. They're a quick strike type of offense. Grand Rapids is just, all those turnovers kind of throw everything out of whack. With the 4 turnovers, it's really hard to get anything going.
Yeah, that's the State Farm Drive summaries of the ball game. 1st and 10 for Los Angeles in their road white. 2-2 on the season. Jackson in motion. Graziani with time as Jackson, who makes the catch and scores. Chris Jackson on the first play of the 3rd quarter, a 33-yard touchdown catch as he beat Mark Ricks.
Well, they used to go together. Ricks used to play in Los Angeles, and he and Jackson had a lot of battles on the practice field. Well, this one's for real. And Chris Jackson, they want to get him back in the game. You see how he just runs past Ricks? And that's my knock against Mark Ricks. I don't think he has the speed that he had in the past to be able to play that middle position, and it showed up right there as Jackson blew right past him.
And that is career touchdown pass number 200 for Tony Graziani, the 8th touchdown catch for Jackson this season. Hamilton's extra point is good. And the Avengers push their lead to 34-13. Congratulations to Tony Graziani, his 38th game in the AFL, 200 career touchdown passes.
That last one was a beauty, too. Hit it right on the mark. And Remy Hamilton actually made the extra point that time. Good news for him. We talked to Remy, and he gave us his lowdown on what his deal is. See how he takes 3 steps back, 2 over. You see him twist his ring? That's his wedding ring. He says he does that because he knows he has support back at home, and then he'll stick his hands straight out like he's setting them on a table. He said that keeps his back steady, so he's able to kick the ball with a better rhythm.
You know, after the AFL on NBC, we'll bring you final round coverage of the Honda Classic, and like all good golfers, Remy Hamilton has a very specific pre-shot routine.
Right, and he feels really good about his routine this year. He said, last year when I was kicking extra points, you know, it was iffy for me. He says this year he knows where he's kicking the football, and he's shown it. He's only missed 2 extra points all season.
Tony Graziani has completed his last 9 He has 4 touchdown passes. As you can look at Steve Smith getting ready to return this kickoff. When you think about for Grand Rapids what might have been, but those turnovers in the first half and then Jeremy Dutcher getting tackled on that kickoff at the end of the half. They've had their opportunities. They'll need some big plays here in the 3rd and 4th quarters. That one into the soft net for a touchback. And Grand Rapids will start at their own 5-yard line. Well, Anthony Buich is a rookie quarterback in arena football. As you get a look at his numbers, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a fumble.
And Tony Graziani is a veteran quarterback in arena football, 3rd year in this offense, and you can see he just goes out and wings the thing. He told us how comfortable he feels. He doesn't have to think anymore. He can just go out and play.
You heard head coach Bob Cortez tell Jack Doles that right before the start of the 3rd quarter, we can beat their secondary. Let's see if they can get that accomplished. As Smith gets tripped up from behind by Ingram as he crosses the 15-yard line, a gain of 12 on the play.
Well, Steve Smith was very close to breaking that one. See Smith show up right over here. He catches that little hitch route, and he got shoestringed by Ingram, or he could have run a long ways. And that's what Steve Smith does best. His game is using those quick feet and escaping and running after the catch.
Ready. Smith. Go. Not in motion this time. Buich, wide open Bush. He makes the catch inside the 10. Moore on the tackle. Josh Bush with a 24-yard catch. He has a touchdown in this ball game.
Yeah, there's a flag back there. But the way the officials are moving down the field, this one well may be on Los Angeles. No, they're heading the other way.
Sort of like the Tide, in and out.
Personal foul. Leg whip. Number 91 on the offense. Half the distance to the goal. Replay, first down.
It's Tito Simpson for Grand Rapids. Ray, you know, you see the turnovers and penalties that negate big plays, and it all adds up to 0-5.
Yeah, and this is just a problem right here. You're going to see Tito Simpson. He's on top. And see how he kicks that leg up after the defender blows past him? That's an illegal leg whip, and they'll call that on you every time. And I think you have to call that. I've been leg whipped a few times. It's not a pretty thing. Of course, that was at home.
Right here in Grand Rapids.
Ready, go, go.
Buich. Smith can't make the catch.
You know, if I have a knock on Steve Smith, it's that, you know, he's such an emotional player. When things aren't going good, frustration sets in, and he's not the player he is when things are going well. And it looked like a half-hearted effort to try and catch that football on that one. Steve Smith's got to get his dauber back up.
See that ticker going below? Richmond Flowers, a couple of touchdowns in this ballgame. If you're playing AFL fantasy football, check out that ticker, updated stats throughout the quarter.
Yeah, Steve Smith needs to make a better effort than that. That's not helping his football team.
Ready, go.
2nd and long. Buich looking for Bush. Bush going to draw a penalty on Moore as Moore ran right into Bush.
Yeah, they pushed Josh Bush right into the wall there while the ball was in the air, and that's definitely going to be a pass interference.
Cutting the receiver off of his route. 10-yard penalty. Automatic, first down.
Here he is right here. You see him push and cut off the route. Works Bush right into the wall. Right here with that shoulder, that little arm bar across the chest. Now, he did do the right thing looking back for the ball, but he'd already cut the route off and made the interference.
Hey, nice catch by the fan, though.
Yeah, maybe they should sign that kid up.
You know, the old Baltimore Orioles.
Red.
Give that man a contract.
Ready,
so a first down for Grand Rapids. Trying to get back in this game. Buich just throws that one away. Incomplete. Grand Rapids trying to mount a comeback as we send it back to Al Troutwig in New York.
Bob, Tampa Bay, and a lesson on how not to tackle.
Hey, Lincoln Dupree grabs his ball, avoids what, 12 guys or something like this in the tackling process. If you have him on your fantasy team, and I do,
he comes up big for you.
Yeah, watch the kicker. I think the kicker has him on his fantasy team, too. Steps right out of the way and lets him score.
Ole, we say, and that's the way the Dragons began the second half. It's a game they're dominating so far, 27-14. Back to you, Bob.
All right, thanks, Al. And you heard Joey Galloway talking about the kickers in arena football. Those kickers have to tackle. Ronnie Hamilton, one of the best. Buich, nearly intercepted by Ingram as Wheeler ran into Ingram, or vice versa. And Los Angeles with a golden opportunity to force their third interception of the game.
Yeah, there was 2 Avengers there to catch the football and nobody from Grand Rapids. And Buich has no business throwing this football down the middle late. And they're just fortunate that I guess you give Damon Wheeler a pass broken up on that one. He knocked it out of Ingram's hands. That's a cardinal sin for a quarterback, throwing the ball late down the middle with air under it. It's a recipe for disaster.
Buich with 2 interceptions, plus he's fumbled it. Flag on the play. Buich has Dutcher to the sideline, and they say he's knocked out at about the 3. So the Grand Rapids native in his first home game with a 26-yard catch and run.
Well, Dutcher's got that skinny body. I say he's got a coal miner's body.
Penalty is declined. First down.
Play will stand if the offsides was called. But Dutcher's just blood and guts kind of guy. I love the kid. I watched him. I came over and watched practice this week, and he's working harder than everybody. He's staying after practice doing things, and he has truly earned his way here into arena football.
Well, he told us, I always knew I could play, and I just want to prove people wrong. You know, there's a white sideline at the base of that wall, and you see that Moore pushed him out at the last second. Remember, it was Moore who stopped Dutcher from scoring a touchdown at the end of the half. The fullback, Goolsby, can't pound it in. Stopped at about the 2. Ray, how important is it for teams to be able to run the football inside the 5-yard line?
That's the key down here in the goal line area. Because it's so compacted, you don't have a lot of room to do a lot of fancy stuff. Plus, the linebackers now can come into play in underneath coverage. So you got 2 more guys standing back there that can help on receivers. So it's just so important to be able to run the football in this area.
Yeah, last week we had Philadelphia and Chicago. Chicago had 6 rushing touchdowns in the ball game, although they lost it. 2nd and goal at the 2. Buich to run it, nowhere to go. Excellent play by Jonathan Taylor, who grabbed Buich from behind. Taylor, a rookie out of Montana State.
Yeah, Fowler set it up. He held the point of attack right here. There's Fowler, and then Taylor will come off the backside over here. And give Hopkins right here some credit, too. He plays a tough linebacker. He's a receiver, but he gets in there and lowers the shoulder and delivers a blow down in this area.
3rd and goal now for Grand Rapids. Trailing 34-13. In desperate need of a score, Smith will be the motion man for the Rampage. Buich to run it. Gets a block and scores. His 4th rushing touchdown of the season. And Grand Rapids gets a score back.
3rd time was the charm as Buich rolls in there behind that good block from the fullback. Finds himself in the end zone.
Now Buich will hold for the extra point.
Good block by the center, Jason Campbell, getting out, picking off a linebacker. Good block by his fullback, Goolsby, and he's able to get over the top.
Ready! Gatto for the extra point. And he pops it right through. So Grand Rapids with 6:58 to go here in the 3rd gets a touchdown back. Anthony Buich runs it in. And Los Angeles' lead is at 14, 34-20. The AFL on NBC is brought to you by Bud Light, fresh, smooth, real. It's all here. And by GM Goodwrench, home of Mr. Goodwrench, the one and only GM expert. Well, part of the Arena Football League experience, fans get to keep the football. There's always entertainment. Sometimes there's even concerts. There'll be one after the game here as we send it down to Jack Doles for more. Jack?
Bob, 20 minutes after this game ends, Blues Traveler is going to take the stage out here in Van Andel Arena and perform for the crowd. John Popper, Chad Kinchler, Tad Kinchler, Brendan Hill, and Ben Wilson all joining us right now. And start with you, John. Great rendition in that anthem earlier.
Thanks. This is my first arena football game. I'm pretty psyched. I think that the regulation-sized ball is a little different than regular football. But, you know, these things really sail, especially when they're launched out of the arena football gun.
John Bon Jovi, of course, purchased a team. After watching this, has he made a wise investment?
I actually just moved to the Northwest, so I'm actually looking into some, just trying to start a franchise there if I could. I mean, what's going on up there generally as teams go?
The Northwest?
Yeah.
Well, you got this LA team who's very good, San Jose.
See, San Jose. LA is southwest, isn't it?
You thinking Seattle, maybe an expansion team in
Seattle, Portland, something like that, you know. I think we need to get some arena football up in the Northwest because it's freezing up there. And it rains all the time, so, you know, it's a no-brainer.
Play indoors is great.
Every play is potentially a touchdown, and the dancing girls are awesome. And, you know, the thing I loved was that they had a promotion about settle that Michigan State-Michigan rivalry. And, like, it was April 4th, and I was thinking, God, you know, what a lame promotion. And there's this 10-year-old kid runs out going, April 4th, April 4th. So, I mean, that's the thing. You can settle the local grudge matches here. And that, I think, is the best thing about it, is that the people are really involved in it.
They are fired up, just like... Now, is this a good warm-up act for a rock band?
This is a pretty surreal gig as far as I'm concerned. I mean, what a view we have. You know, you see all kinds of things, but they could literally tackle us.
We played after a homecoming for a university once where it was on the field, and that went really well. So I'm hoping for the same thing here.
Of course, they burned a cottage in that one. Yeah. Or there was like a bonfire the size of a house. I don't think that would work here. Yeah, I don't think the crowd buys that.
Guys, thanks for joining us, and have a good show after this.
Thanks for having us.
Back to you, Bob.
All right, Jack. After that kickoff, Ray, there was a flag on the play because of Grand Rapids getting inside that 5-yard line.
Kick-catch interference.
Graziani with Jackson in motion on a 1st and 10 from his own 10. Checks off to Hopkins, who can't handle it at the 14-yard line.
All right. Los Angeles offense is really out of character a little bit right now with going to a lot of 3-step drop. They're a down-the-field team. We saw it on the first play here in that last drive. They hit Jackson on a deep one, but I'm seeing more 3-step out of Tony Graziani than usual.
He got some pressure early on, fumbled the ball twice. Grand Rapids gave it right back as Ed Hotchkiss tries to get his team operating on all cylinders. Jackson will be the motion man on this 2nd and 10. Graziani under some pressure. And incomplete. He got hit right in the chest.
Yeah, that was Jermaine Benoit, the MAC linebacker, who brought the heat that time. And Grand Rapids pass rush, they have problems, but the problem isn't getting after the quarterback today, as you'll hear. I tell you, it didn't sound as bad as it looked. He had the high-low deal there.
Yeah, Ricky Simpkins got in there as well, 4th-year lineman out of Syracuse. And now Los Angeles will call a timeout with 5:05 to go in the 3rd quarter of play, and the Avengers are facing a 3rd and 10. They are nursing a 14-point lead, 34 to 20. You're watching the AFL on NBC. In 1998, at the age of 24, Casey Wasserman became the youngest person to own a professional sports team. The AFL awarded in the Los Angeles franchise. And there is Dan DeVos, the owner and president of the Grand Rapids Rampage.
Both owners in the house today. I know Dan DeVos is, you know, struggling with this franchise right now. They won a championship just a couple years ago in 2001, and they kind of cut things back here in Grand Rapids, not spending the money like they did earlier on, and that's, I think, affected the product on the field a little bit.
Well, let's see if Grand Rapids can get a stop. Graziani on a 3rd and 10. Looking deep, looking for Ingram, who makes the catch. And then lost the football. It's incomplete. He had it for a second, but there is a flag on the play as well.
Yeah, and it's on offensive pass interference on Ingram. He did this earlier in the game, got a push off at the end and made the catch, and so that penalty be declined.
Interference. Number 5 on the offense. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Yeah, because it was dropped, it's declined.
There he is right there, and you can see they do a little bit of a hand battle, but at the end, they call it on Ingram. don't know. That was a tough one right there because both guys were kind of hand fighting as they went down. But when Ingram gets the separation there right at the end, that's when they called the flag.
So Remy Hamilton will try a field goal of 55 yards.
He can make this. He's got this kind of range.
His long this year, 47. 0 for 2. On its way, and it is short. Smith to return it. Smith dumped at the 10-yard line. 16-yard return. So Grand Rapids defense earns yet another stop. Can their offense now capitalize? They trail by 14. Bob Papa, Ray Bentley, Jack Doles, we welcome you back to Grand Rapids here in the third. Kevin Ingram and the Avengers with a 14-point lead over Grand Rapids.
And Ingram has had an outstanding ball game already here. This is that last play where you can see just at the end there, that last push off. He got called for that on offensive pass interference. He didn't get called on these earlier ones as he gets an interception early in the first quarter to help LA come up with some points. And then he comes in and makes a special teams tackle. Tackled in the end zone for a touchback. And then he turns it to offense. Catches the slant route from Graziani and then up over the top, another touchdown. Kevin Ingram, he's well on his way to being the Iron Man of this game. He's been the Iron Man in 6 of the last 14 games he's played for the LA Avengers.
Grand Rapids gets their third stop of the game. Can they capitalize? Buich. He's got Bush. And Bush can haul it in inside the 5. Time for an update as we send it back to New York and Al Troutman.
Hey, Bob, earlier we showed you Lincoln Dupree doing things on special teams. He did it again. Here's a pooch field goal that turns into a Tampa Bay disaster.
Oh, absolute disaster. Dupree's going to make some guys miss. He's going to get a quarterback who's a holder that doesn't want to tackle him. And then he's going to get a little help right here from a little bit of a hold. Markham thinks it's a hold. The ball boy in the end zone thinks it's a hold. But the officials apparently don't see it.
Joey Galloway, was it a hold?
Definitely a hold.
But it counts anyway.
Bring it back.
33-14. It's a blowout in Tampa Bay, Bob.
All right, thanks, Al. The defending league champions struggling. Tim Markham, Tampa Bay struggling. Grand Rapids. Oh, and Buich throws the interception to Butterfield.
Yeah, I think it's going to come back, though. They're going to get Butterfield for not rushing. Those defensive ends have to rush the quarterback. They have to come across the line of scrimmage, and Butterfield was just standing there waiting for a present.
You mean unlike in the outdoor game where Joey Galloway plays, there's no zone blitz?
Yeah, believe it or not.
Where linemen drop into coverage?
Can't do that in arena football.
Nice hands by Butterfield, though.
Yeah, he showed a little something for a big guy. Butterfield, 6 foot, 298-pounder.
Illegal defense, drifting by the end. 5-yard penalty, first down.
The big guy can't believe it. What do you mean drifting? He's too big to drift.
Yeah, it's more like a wave.
But it's a good call. Here's Butterfield right here. He's got to cross the line of scrimmage and attempt to get after the quarterback. Watch him. See as he backpedals? Now he's on the wrong side of the line of scrimmage. Now you can give a little ground for a cut block like that, but then you have to restart your engine and get going forward. And they called him on the wrong side of the line of scrimmage.
Now that's a huge call right now because Grand Rapids trying to get back in this ball game. Buich. He's got his receiver wide open and he can't hook up with Smith. Smith had a couple steps and Buich couldn't find him.
Boy, that was a big break right there for Los Angeles. You watch Steve Smith, he's just going to blow past Damon Wheeler. Wheeler's got to get some hands on him if he's going to catch him at the line of scrimmage. He just let him go and turn the hips, and Smith will outrace you if that's what you're going to do, and he just couldn't outrace the football.
Right, that's one of those plays, whether it's the indoor game or the outdoor game, you've got to make that play when your receiver's that open.
Yeah, you do. You got to put a little air on it. That's a tough one because you never know how much, your receiver's how much of a hit he's going to take at the line.
Smith in motion on a 2nd and 10. Smith is open. Smith can't hold it as he got hit by Ingram. Buich told us that not only does he watch tape on the opposition, he's actually studying tape of his own receiver, Steve Smith.
Right, because Anthony Buich hasn't had much experience with Steve Smith, so he's, I need to see what Steve likes to do. How is he reading things? What's the kind of breaks he likes to make? Where does he make them? So he watched a lot of tape of Steve Smith to get on the same page with it.
Well, they need to help them. They need to be on the same page here. This is a big 3rd and 10 for Grand Rapids. Go. They trail by 14. Foreman gets a block. Foreman to the 5. Foreman scores. 35 yards. There is a flag at the 3.
Yeah, I think that's a post-play flag. I think this thing's going to stand, and I didn't see Foreman. I think he spiked the ball into the wall, and if he did that, that's what the penalty will be.
Sean Foreman with his longest catch of the season. 35-yard score.
Yeah, that's a celebration, unsportsmanlike conduct on Grand Rapids. But it won't affect the touchdown. It's a post-play foul. Dead ball foul.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number on the scoring player, 10-yard penalty on the extra point.
So a 10-yard penalty on the extra point. And extra points are a dicey proposition at best.
This ball's going to be tipped right here, and Foreman's going to get it, and then there's going to be a great block coming up here. Smith on that corner. Right there's the block, clears the way, and now it's just Foreman running down the field. That worked to perfection. I don't see what he did at the end to create the foul, but nonetheless, it'll make Gatto have to work a little harder for this extra point.
Yeah, this extra point is now 28 yards.
Ready!
With uprights that are 9 feet wide. And he hooked it left.
That'd have been good from the normal spot.
But a huge mistake by Grand Rapids, making the extra point a much more difficult proposition. So it's now 38-26, Los Angeles in front. Sean Foreman with a 35-yard touchdown catch and run. And Grand Rapids is getting it done on defense. They have gotten 3 stops in this game. If it wasn't for their own mistakes and turnovers, they would have an opportunity. They still do have an opportunity, Ray, but they might be in better stead right now.
Well, the good news is they're just 1 possession behind with it being an 8-point deal. And here's the end of that touchdown run by Foreman. And see how he pointed at Ingram right there? That's the taunting that was called. And that's the penalty that was thrown. And that actually occurred during the play. They could have taken that touchdown away from him.
Well, you know, in the AFL, they allow celebration. You know, it's encouraged. Have fun after you score, but they don't want you taunting. No. That was a taunt by Foreman.
Yeah, and you know, as a coach, I just don't believe in that kind of thing. If you're going to celebrate with your guys. Don't do anything to get the other team upset. And not only that, you're down and you're 0-5. Who are you pointing at? You know, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
So Foreman forcing a 28-yard extra point that Gatto misses. His team has missed some extra points. Grand Rapids 2, Los Angeles 1, but Grand Rapids 0-5, hanging in there despite 4 turnovers. They've got 3 defensive stops against the best scoring per possession team in the league. That kickoff goes through the crossbar for a touchback. Los Angeles will start at their own 5-yard line.
Yeah, Gatto would have liked to have that been his extra point.
Check out Monday's edition of USA Today for complete coverage of the Arena Football League, box scores, stats, league leaders, and much, much more. Plus, log on to AFLFantasy.com, powered by Sandbox for complete AFL fantasy stats. Over 30,000 have signed up to play AFL fantasy football, and you can still sign up and play.
That's right. You'd still be eligible for the weekly prizes.
Graziani now trying to respond. They love the big strike. Jackson in motion. Graziani hit. Graziani dragged down near the goal line, and he just got out.
Boy, that should have been a safety, in my opinion. They waited a little bit on the whistle, and they let Graziani stumble out of the end zone. That's a huge break for Los Angeles, because that should have been 2 points for Grand Rapids.
And that would have negated those missed extra points.
Right, and they not only that, but a possession. But right here, he's down, he's done. They let him fall forward and get that momentum out of the end zone.
Hey, Graziani, and that'll be the final play of the 3rd quarter. Graziani had the presence of mind to nudge that body, though, out of the end zone to avoid the safety and live for another play. So Los Angeles in a dogfight against the Grand Rapids Rampage. The Rampage 0-5. They've turned it over 4 times, but they are within 8 points. Can Los Angeles get the offense revved back up The fourth and final quarter still to come. The decision still up for grabs. You're watching the AFL on NBC.
The copyrighted telecast of the Arena Football League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written permission of the AFL and NBC.
We got to play good now. Hey, hey, nice. Hey, 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 everybody, everybody, everybody. Shut up, everybody. Listen to me. Listen, Tito, I know I talk a lot. Get down. Get down. I know I talk a lot, and you never know when to listen. But we can win this game if we can protect and keep getting after. We need to stop here. We need to stop here, right? We need to stop here. A stop means every guy got to play hard and smart, not just hard. Go get him. Let's win our first game. Let's get it right here. Let's go. Hey, hey.
Bob Cortez, the head coach of the Grand Rapids Rampage, trying to spur his team on as we start the fourth quarter of play. Bob Papa, Ray Bentley, Jack Doles. Welcome back to Grand Rapids, Michigan. Los Angeles, second and long, and 14 from their own one. Graziani underneath. Hopkins with the catch. Hopkins gets tackled. Just shy of the first down marker.
Boy, that's a dangerous play. Los Angeles just ran a 5-step drop in the shadow of their own end zone, but it worked out for him. Graziani bought a little time. Watch him in his initial drop. He's waiting for this to clear because his receiver is running a crossing route. That's a dig route by Hopkins, and that takes time to develop. So they just put it on their lineman. Hey, you got to protect, and they did it.
Third and inches for Los Angeles. Lonnie Ford is the fullback behind Graziani. Jackson will be the motion man, bottom of your screen. Ford has the first down to the 17-yard line. Tackled by Dutcher. But Los Angeles moves the chains. And, you know, the last play of the third quarter, Ray Bentley, a huge play. Graziani avoiding the safety at the last second. It would have been 2 points for Grand Rapids, and they would have gotten the ball. A heads-up play by the veteran.
Yeah, great presence by Graziani, knowing where he was. He was in his own end zone, and his forward progress got him out. That was perilously close to being a disaster for Los Angeles.
Ford again, the fullback. The dangerous Jackson in motion. First and 10. Jackson with the catch. Jackson dropped by Rafael Ball at the 24-yard line. It's a gain of about 7 on the play.
Number 81, Chris Jackson.
Good play by Rafael Ball. He was a member of the world champion Grand Rapids Rampage team in the year 2001, and normally plays a two-way position, a wide receiver and defensive back, but Cecil Doggett was put on injured reserve this week, and that meant Ball had to go over there and play defensive specialist.
3 times in this game, Grand Rapids has forced a stop. 2nd and 3. Jackson in motion for Los Angeles. Douglas. Douglas has speed. Douglas shedding tackles and finally dropped at the 9-yard line. Rick saved the touchdown.
Douglas showed something there, escapability, because Israel Raybon pretty much had him at the line of scrimmage. Watch Raybon, he's right here. He's got a good angle, and he actually picked off his own guy as well. As that was Will Sullivan over there trying to make a tackle. And look at Douglas go. This is one great run here by Douglas. He just keeps the feet going, keeps working.
Glenn Hotchkiss, the head coach, said he wanted to get Douglas more involved because of his speed. Jackson in motion, first and goal. Graziani. Jackson, touchdown, Los Angeles. Chris Jackson in the corner. Graziani, another touchdown pass. And Los Angeles gets a buffer score.
Yeah, he just schooled Mark Ricks right there. And another great throw from Tony Graziani. This is just a corner route for Jackson. He's going to run up the field, give a little look inside, and go straight to the corner. You see Ricks kind of stopped his feet, tried to undercut, and with the ball thrown up in the air where it needed to be, Ricks didn't have a chance.
5th touchdown pass for the ball game for Graziani. Hamilton for the extra point. And Remy Hamilton bats it through. And with 11:36 to go in the ball game, Chris Jackson with his 2nd touchdown catch of the ball game. He's also run for 1. Los Angeles leads it 41-26.
Come on, feel thunder, there's a rumble in the house.
Chris Jackson of the Los Angeles Avengers with 2 touchdown catches and a touchdown run. Los Angeles trying to snap a 2-game losing streak. They lead Grand Rapids 41-26 here in the 4th. Bob Papa, Ray Bentley, and Jack Doles welcome you back to the AFL on NBC.
I was going to say, Bob, that was a huge drive for Los Angeles because Grand Rapids definitely had the momentum, and now Los Angeles put it right back on them.
Hamilton's kickoff. Smith off the bobble. Smith tackles inside the 5-yard line by Jason Moore. Well, Tony Graziani has thrown 5 touchdown passes. He's standing by with Jack Doles.
All right, Tony, the 5 touchdown passes, but still this game a little closer than it should be with the 4 turnovers you guys have.
Yeah, we're stopping ourselves right now. We're shooting ourselves in the foot. We can't do that. You know, I'm holding the ball a little bit too long, trying to make too much happen. I just got to settle down and go through my reads.
What's working best for you right now? And, you know, Cecil Doggett did not get to play in this game. Did you guys think you'd be able to take a little better advantage of that?
Well, you know, anytime you lose a guy like Cecil, it's a tough blow. But, you know, we're killing ourselves right now. We got to just get back on track here.
All right, thanks. Back to you, Bob and Ray.
All right, on a 1st and 10. Pass completed to Foreman. Foreman gets it to about the 12-yard line. And, you know, Graziani with the 5 touchdown catches, Ray, one of the big plays, the final play of the 3rd quarter when he avoided a safety.
Yeah, that's just a veteran quarterback, a guy with composure and understanding where he is and really saving the bacon.
Pressure on Grand Rapids offense now to respond to that latest Los Angeles touchdown pass to Chris Jackson. They've gotten Smith deep a couple times, Ray, but Buich has not been able to find him. Buich to throw. Pass batted away by Hopkins again. That is the 2nd time that Hopkins has been able to play from that jack linebacker spot and deflect the pass.
Yeah, he works the box. He's all over the place and making plays. He, you know, had the deflection earlier that caused an interception. He's the best in the game at that jack linebacker. But I tell you, I'm reading some body language from Grand Rapids right now where I would expect them to be fired up. They got a chance in this ball game, and the last time they just walked out of the huddle. See how they do here. See how they're kind of slow getting up to the line. Nobody's got a sense of urgency. That's bad body language from where I'm sitting.
3rd and short. Buich wide open. Foreman inside the 20, tackled by Douglas at the 17-yard line, a 1st down and a gain of 20.
Los Angeles forgot about Sean Foreman. He's a check down guy. They were looking to go deep, and LA's in a zone here. They're going to carry it deep, and then 2 guys are going to jump on the inside guy, and Foreman's just going to sit on the outside. Here's Foreman up here. See him just sit there. Now you got 2 covering deep. You got 1 underneath, and there's no one out there for Sean Foreman. That's a good read by Anthony Buich to find a guy out there all alone.
Smith in motion on a 1st and 10. Foreman again runs into Moore and gets tackled at about the 13-yard line. It's a gain of 4 on the play for Grand Rapids. Pivotal drive for the Rampage. They need a touchdown, trailing 41-26.
Sean Foreman's heated up here in the 2nd half. Had the touchdown reception on the quick screen earlier and caught a couple balls in this drive.
Foreman came into the game with just 4 catches.
It's just his, you know, I guess he made his debut last week against Dallas, and that's when he had his catches and really sparked things as far as that linebacker receiver position.
All right, on a 2nd and 6, Smith in motion. Buich pump fake looking for Smith, and they can't hook up. Wheeler on the coverage.
Yeah, that's pretty good defense by Wheeler. He totally cut that post route off where Smith was going to go, and Smith had to go up top, and you know, it's too late. Buich had already thrown the ball. Watch the body position by Wheeler right here. See him get right in front of Steve Smith, cutting that route off. That's pretty good defense.
Doesn't Smith have to fight his way through that just to possibly prevent an interception?
I agree 100%. Steve Smith has to finish the down.
So 3rd and 6 for Grand Rapids. Smith in motion, and Buich wanted the snap and never got it.
And that'll back him up. It'll be a 3rd and 10.
Prior to the snap, false start, 98 on the offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Hardy Mitchell, the lineman.
Yeah, Hardy's a solid 2-way player in this league. He's really better on defense. I coached him in Buffalo for a couple years, and he's got a good motor. He'll get things going. Made a mistake there, though.
He was part of that Clint Dalzell trade with Las Vegas. So now it is 3rd and 11.
Go!
Smith in motion. Buich. Dutcher. Stopped, and he fights, and he has the first down to the 6-yard line. Wheeler on the tackle.
That's a good play call by Bob Cortez. He sent a man deep, and what he's been doing is short guys have just been running hitches. This time they run a crossing route with Dutcher, and that's wide open. They really haven't shown that much, and it caught LA sleeping, and they're able to get that first down.
And Dutcher with the extra effort to force himself to that first down marker and across it. 1st and goal for Grand Rapids. Grand Rapids' own Jeremy Dutcher with a big catch.
Extra effort is that kid's middle name.
Smith in motion. Buich. Looks left. Throws it. Touchdown, Foreman. There is a flag on the play at the 2.
Well, that's on Greg Hopkins for being out of the box, but he's making an argument that the quarterback pumped the football, and if the quarterback pumps the ball, then that Jack linebacker can get out of the box. It'll be a touchdown.
So Foreman with another touchdown
no
catch.
linebacker out of the box due to a pump fake by the quarterback. However, there was a touchdown on the play.
All semantics as far as Hopkins is concerned, because Foreman scores the touchdown.
Yeah, Foreman's going to be down here. See him right there hiding against the wall, and he's just going to go sit in the back of that end zone. Now here's Hopkins. He's going to jump out of the box once he makes the pump fake right here to Steve Smith. See how deep Hopkins got, but they forgot about Foreman.
Pivotal extra point, and Gatto knocks it through, so that keeps Grand Rapids to within 8. Sean Foreman, a couple touchdowns in the ball game. Grand Rapids hanging tough. Now they need a stop. The AFL on NBC is brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. By the United States Army, an army of one. And by ADT, America's residential and commercial security leader. Call 1-800-ADT-ASAP. Bob Papa, Ray Bentley, Jack Doles in Grand Rapids, Michigan. The Rampage 0-5 within 8 of the Los Angeles Avengers.
See, the Avengers are expecting an onside kick. I'd be surprised. I don't think they're going to do it yet. There's 6 minutes left, down by 1 possession with 3 timeouts. Go ahead and kick it deep.
Gatto does send it deep and high. Ingram running it out. Ingram with room. Ingram to the 20, and then gets tripped up by Foreman and Gatto. There is a flag, though, back downfield.
Yeah, that's going to be a holding. This one's going to come back all the way inside the 10-yard line for LA.
And usually the hold is where the hole was.
Yeah, there was a nice big hole due to the holding.
Officials sorting it out.
During the return, holding by the receiving team. Penalty half the distance to the goal. First down.
Don't have the guilty party, but that negates Ingram's return.
You know, you have kickers in arena football that have to make tackles. And Nick Gatto is game, baby. He's ready to go. He'll get good body position and drive in there. And you may have noticed that Nick has one arm. He was born with a birth defect where that right arm did not form, and he didn't let that stop him. He's an amazing story, the things that this kid has been able to achieve in overcoming that handicap.
Played all the sports in high school. Outstanding athlete. 1st and 10 for Los Angeles. Graziani looking for Jackson. The timing off on the play. So Grand Rapids hanging tough as we check in with Al Troutwig in New York.
Hey, Bob, Graziani's got Chris Jackson. When you're playing for Tampa Bay, you've got Freddie Solomon.
That's right. You got to love O'Hara. Finds him just on the quick at. Freddie gets in. That's his 2nd in a row. He scored twice very quickly for them.
New York led at one point in this game 20-0. It felt like it was over, but that's never the case in this league. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Al. Same here for Grand Rapids. They were down big, but they battled back. They've gotten 3 stops. Can they get another? 2nd and 10. Graziani. Ingram with the catch, and it looks like he has enough for the first down as he got hit by Ricks.
Then there's a late flag that came down after the scuffle on the sideline.
Penalty.
Let's see what
After the
the
play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 17 on the defense. 10-yard penalty, first down.
And that's a mistake that Ricks cannot make.
No, you can't. That just doesn't make any sense. Now here you made a good play. You made the tackle. You got him on the wall. Now you got to leave him alone at that point. You can't give him the business. And there he did. He knocked the ball out of his hand. It's just senseless. It makes no sense. That's losing football.
Yeah, just a bad play there by Ricks. You can't give Los Angeles free yardage, especially when you're down 8 and need to stop. Jackson in motion. Graziani got pounded as he let it go. And the pass falls incomplete. Jermaine Benoit with the hit.
They tried to run a screen to the weak side. And when you run the screen, you don't really block these guys up front. Here they're going to try to run the screen. Over here, there's the tight end and the fullback. They're both going to work over to that side. You see the screen set up. Actually, Jeffries is open, but you don't really block anybody on that screen. Your quarterback has to backpedal and create room and time for himself to make the play, and Grand Rapids was just coming too hard.
Second and 10 for the Avengers of Los Angeles. Jackson will circle in motion. Graziani has some time, gets hit and dropped. Benoit there again.
Boy, Jermaine Benoit is a beast rushing from that back linebacker position. He's been putting pressure on all day. This time stays with it and gets himself a sack. Here's Benoit right here. Watch him. He just rips through that protection, stays strong, and stays after Graziani. I'll tell you what, he's fortunate didn't force another fumble.
Graziani sacked for the 4th time. Ray, he had only been sacked 5 times through the first 4 games.
You got to give the credit to the Grand Rapids front 5. They're really bringing some heat.
Huge play coming up here.
Graziani's going to take a timeout and talk about it. This, well, could be the ball game here. Los Angeles needs points on this drive to make it a 2-possession game.
2:38 remaining in the ball game. Los Angeles facing a big 3rd and 10. Can Grand Rapids get the stop? They trail by 8.
Dan Hicks at the final round of the Honda Classic on a windy day in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Just a short time ago, Davis Love III, his second shot with a 5-iron at the par 5 from 198 yards, reaches the green in 2. 2-putted for birdie for his 2nd straight birdie. Love, who began the day a full 6 shots behind the 54-hole leader Todd Hamilton, now has crept to within 3, tied with Frederick Jakobsen. Golf is coming up next. In the meantime, back to football and Bob Papa.
All right, thank you, Dan Hicks. Well, I said earlier, Davis Love III could be dangerous down there in the Honda Classic. He's making a run, of course. Davis Love III, the defending champ of the Players' Championship. You'll see that in a couple of weeks here on NBC as well. Honda Classic coming up right after the AFL on NBC. Big 3rd down here for the Los Angeles Avengers, leading by 8, Ray.
This could be the ball game here.
Jackson, the motion man. Motion on the line. Flags fly.
Boy,
did Butterfield move, or was it Grand Rapids across too early?
I think it might have been the Rampage too early.
Encroachment. Number 40 on the defense. 5-yard penalty.
That's the nose tackle, Jason Gamble, who is also a center. Here he is right there, and you can see he just got the early jump. Give Graziani credit. Bought himself 5 yards on a big 3rd down with the cadence.
They changed that rule, Ray. Last year, that would have been an automatic 1st down.
Can't live in the past, Bobby.
Well, Grand Rapids is happy. Los Angeles 2 of 5 on 3rd downs. This will be a 3rd and 5. Los Angeles leading it by 8. Grand Rapids looking for their first win. Jeffries, the fullback. Jackson in motion. Graziani has Jackson, and he makes the catch. No signal yet. Touchdown! Chris Jackson with an unbelievable catch. on the 3rd and 5.
It's the same play they got him on earlier. Jackson cutting to his left, which is what he's more comfortable with. He makes the cut and a perfect throw by Graziani right next to the wall. This is just unbelievable touch by Graziani, putting the ball in the field of play. You see the official look over there? Says, all right, if he's got the football, that's a touchdown.
And Chris Jackson shows it. Chris Jackson with a great touchdown catch. Hamilton for the extra point. And it is good. And Los Angeles with some breathing room now. They lead it 48-33 on Chris Jackson's spectacular touchdown grab.
Jackson really has come around in the second half. We saw early in the first half he didn't look comfortable, didn't look like he was running real well, and in fact, you know, we heard Tony Graziani give him a little pep speech to try and get him fired up, and he's come out in this second half and shown you what he's all about. Watch this. Watch how fast Jackson's going when he hits the wall. This is a full speed deal. And we'll all sneak up on you in a hurry.
And you notice Jackson was going to his left. That's where he was able to make his break better with that injured left knee.
Right, they were running him on a lot of posts originally, and now in the second half they got him running those corner routes, and that's worked out well for him. In the second half, Jackson, 4 catches, 69 yards, and a pair of touchdowns.
It was almost like running a post in the respect that of which way he was turning.
Right.
Even though it was in the corner.
Still, it was the way he can cut good.
Right. So Chris Jackson on a huge 3rd down conversion.
Yeah, so that puts Grand Rapids up against the wall now. There is time. There's plenty of time with 1:51 left. They're going to have to rely on some magic. They're going to have to score quickly and then recover an onside kick.
Of course, Steve Smith can change things in a hurry with his kickoff return ability. Hamilton getting set to boot it. And he sends one high off the net. Loose ball. And Sullivan finally cleans it up.
It's a great kick by Remy Hamilton. He's been hitting that iron pretty consistent throughout the day. Steve Smith has had very few clean chances to field the football.
All right, it's time to take a look at our U.S. Army Ironman of the game.
Well, I kind of anointed Kevin Ingram at halftime. He already had a game worthy of being the Ironman. There's his interception early on. Here's a special teams play. He's got 2 tackles on special teams. And then he's got a little kick return here. He's just doing everything, catching a couple of touchdown passes. A worthy performance.
U.S. Army Ironman of the game on a 1st and 10 for Grand Rapids. Jeremy Dutcher makes the catch, picks up 9 on the play, and that will take us to the 1-minute warning. Congratulations to Kevin Ingram, the U.S. Army Ironman of the game, but he's got to make a few more plays because Grand Rapids still has a chance, down 48-33 with 1 minute to go. You're watching the AFL on NBC. Welcome back to Grand Rapids. Bob Hopper, Ray Bentley, Jack Doles, glad you can join us. Los Angeles in front, 1 minute to go. Now, if you happen to visit Grand Rapids, you have to make a stop at the Grand Rapids Sports Hall of Fame, and you'll find one of the city's favorite sons, our own Ray Bentley. Look at that hair.
They got the mullet going back there.
Going.
Yeah, actually, the Sports Hall of Fame is right here in Van Andel Arena, and it was quite an honor.
Of course, Ray playing for the Buffalo Bills as well. Now a proud member of NBC. Hey, we've got 1 minute to go in the ball game.
Got to score fast if you're Grand Rapids. You got the timeouts so you can stop the clock on the ensuing drive, but it doesn't matter if you don't score.
Buich to throw. Dutcher underneath. Ingram pushes him out. Now remember, with under 1 minute to go, the clock stops when a player gets out of bounds. It stops on incompleted passes.
That was a heads-up play by Dutcher. He could have made a move and tried to make more out of it inside, but he knew the situation they're in, and he opts to go out of bounds and stop the clock.
And what about Los Angeles' secondary right now? They're trying to keep everything in front of them, right?
Yeah, just use the clock. Make them catch it in front of you, make tackles, try to keep them in bounds.
Grand Rapids has 3 timeouts remaining.
Yeah, Dutcher.
1st and 10. Smith in motion. Buich gets hit in the head and dropped for the sack. I think Butterfield was the one who got the initial hit. And they'll have to call a timeout.
They had to take a timeout there to get reorganized. And boy, the protection's been pretty solid. pretty solid throughout the day, but Butterfield comes in right there, makes the play.
Stat, too. I think Stat got the initial hit.
Jeremy Staton and Butterfield came in and cleaned up, and he started celebrating like he made a play.
Well, it's time for the ADT defensive play of the game, Ray, and defense does win championships. There are a couple of great interceptions by Los Angeles.
Yeah, and they've had problems in the secondary, you know, as we talked about earlier, but they haven't had no problem with Kevin Ingram. He makes a play, then Hopkins tips this ball, and Damon Wheeler comes up with it. A couple of big defensive plays, stops by that Los Angeles defense.
And they've also recovered a couple of fumbles in this ball game.
Ready.
44 seconds to go. You get a whistle and a flag and a false start against Grand Rapids, so they're not helping their cause here, giving up a sack and now a false start with 43 seconds to go.
Prior to snap, false start by the snapper. Be a 5-yard penalty. Second down. Please put 45 seconds on the game clock.
That's Paul Lecare. He kind of double clutched the snap.
You know, Grand Rapids, if they are not able to stage a huge comeback here in this last 45 seconds, they're going to look back at this game film, and boy, the opportunities that they had in this game. I don't think Los Angeles was at their best today, Ray.
I agree with you. Coming off the bye week, the early starts and things added up against them, but Grand Rapids has been in this game throughout.
Smith in motion. Buick. Dutcher the catch. Flag on the play. Clock stops with 39 seconds to go. Wheeler on the tackle.
At the 21-yard line, penalty.
Illegal defense. Outside rush, number 44. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Josh Jeffries, the rookie from Appalachian State.
Yeah, you got to rush on either side of the nose. You can't get outside of your defensive tackles or defensive ends, and he got outside. That's going to be a penalty. As you look at the worst records in arena football, Grand Rapids right down there, and they will actually have a bye next week, and then they play Indiana, who has a new football coach. Steve DeBerg fired last week. Mike Wilpolt, who has been with that organization for 5 years as a defensive coordinator, he takes over the reins.
Buick on a first down, gets sacked. And they're going to rule him down at the 10-yard line. Stat got in there again with Butterfield. So basically those two are saying we'll meet at the quarterback.
And they have twice now. And that's just not finishing a ball game. And I think Grand Rapids uses the second timeout. But when you're not used to winning, when you haven't won, and you get down to crunch time when you have to perform, they don't have anything to draw back on right now. They haven't experienced success together, and they're coming apart at the seams a little bit.
Sports report all week. Live from Las Vegas, about a half mile from the Las Vegas Strip, it's Arena Football League action. Today, the Las Vegas Gladiators and the Arizona Rattlers. Hi, everybody. Along with Gene Nudo, I'm Kent Nordavanis. Welcome to Arizona Rattlers football. Well, Gino, it was not a great start for the Rattlers. In fact, they were off to their worst start in some 10 years, but things are different right now, thankfully.
Typical Rattlers. They started off very slow, but in the last 3 ball games, they look like your old Arizona Rattlers with good offense and solid defense.
And no surprise, they've been utilizing the leadership of the veteran, the left-hander. He's been outstanding the last few games, and we're talking about Cedric Bonner.
Cedric really, after a shaky start those first couple weeks, is among the league leaders again, making the great throws. His rhythm and timing seems to be back in sync with some quality receivers.
Along with Hunky Cooper, Bonner said everybody has to take a long look in the mirror, how they can get better. Well, said numbers, they've been outstanding here in the last couple of games. It's been a comfortable situation, I think, the last 2 games, though, Gino, because now he's working in concert with Sia Burley. That was not the case earlier this year.
It's taken him until this point, but Sia Burley has emerged as one of the best offensive specialists in the Arena Football League, and he's really, the way he's playing now is the reason why the Rattlers signed him.
Yeah, he is second in the AFL in receptions, getting very comfortable in Danny White's offense. We'll have more here coming up from Las Vegas. Again, Arizona Rattlers going against Clint Dozell, a talented quarterback for Las Vegas. Back after this, right here on Fox Sports Net.